Whoops, I didn't underscore Seth. What a dummy I am. Oh, well. I skipped Seth on the Twitter handle and just have his name there.
That's all right.
Morning, everybody.
Hello, friends.
I am very excited to see what the new Capital One commercials are with Chuck and Spike Lee and Samuel L. Jackson. Always good.
I agree with that.
Wow. That's
Look, he's got nothing. The Red Wings are dying.
that's quite
Michigan State's barely going to make the tournament. They're going to be done in one game. He's got to find something.
that's quite nerdy of you.
Oh, it totally is. But it brings me joy every single spring.
Paul, are you talking about Keith Byers and Reggie White? Is that your reference there? Oh. Wow, got a full house this morning early. Morning, everybody. Wow, they only did 1487 at the FGCU women's game last night.
Here we go.
That's
You are listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network. And now here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
top of the morning to you as we get over the hump together. How the heck are you? We are Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on Twitter/X. Hope your week is going well. Mark, how's your week going?
It's going just fine, but after, my favorite week of the year,
Right.
I have to pay the piper this week. I have been, and I wasn't even handed a list. I took the list on my own.
Smart.
My mother-in-law gets in spring break is next week. My mother-in-law is coming down to help because the daughter doesn't have school for another 17 days or whatever they do around here.
Right. Well, it's Florida. I mean, if the kids go to school for 3 straight weeks, 15 days in a row, there must be time off.
So my mother-in-law is coming down. So I am preparing the house for the mother-in-law. I am doing some deep cleaning this week to keep last week on the back burner, if you know what I mean.
Is this one of those occasions where you use the maid service and then clean? Is it that kind of a week?
It's that kind of a week.
Don't you love when the wife says, hey, we need to straighten up the house. The maids are coming over.
This isn't that type of
No?
We've been through that. We've been over that. No, this is the deep cleaning. This is the pressure wash the lanai. This is clean the pool cage. This is no. This is the big stuff, David. This isn't the little stuff. This is the big stuff.
I always used to say to my wife, why are we doing this? Why do we want to give the impression that we're better off than we are? Okay.
Not giving an impression that we're better off than we are. It's giving the impression that the house is clean. That's all it is. It's nothing more than that.
Everything's relative.
You want to live and swallow? Then go right ahead. I'd like things to be clean. They need it. It hadn't been done in a while. So after a week of fun for me, I'm taking the bull by the horns and getting everything done without being, what we ask of our children, to do something without being asked. Sometimes adults have to do the same thing.
We're all a product of our upbringing. My mom had a lot of strengths, and cleaning was not one of them. My mother used to joke, she would dust like once a year. As she said, whether the apartment needs it or not, I'm going to dust once a year. And so when it came time to really dust, I forget what the expression was.
Dust?
There's dust.
It's come to really dust.
Well, really dust, because the dust had layers to it. It's kind of like if you don't shovel.
It sounds like a bad strip joint that I used to go to on Fort Myers Beach, where used to hang from the rafters.
Parking is free, $5 admission to really dust. But my mother used to say that, oh man, we've got dust elephants. I guess it's been a while. So that's all. When I think of cleaning, I think of my mom, and she would do it once a year, whether it needed it or not.
Cooking and cleaning, not her areas of expertise, huh?
No, working was, and raising me. But that other stuff, that's details. Whatever. Besides, it builds character. That's what she would say. Be quiet. It builds character. Okay. All right. So, hey, I'm going to love this afternoon on ESPN and NFL Network, because they're going to do wall-to-wall nonstop coverage of NFL free agency. And my question is, what's left?
A lot of one-year deals coming today for players that you're going to go, oh, yeah, I know who that is.
I mean, what do we have? Calvin Ridley. I will say, so is Ryan Tannehill out of the league? Is he done? Or is he? I saw a rumor, is he signing with the Dolphins to back up Tua? I mean, I am curious about a couple of the quarterbacks. Is Jimmy Garoppolo done? Nobody's going to sign him? Yeah, he's got to miss the first game or whatever, but that's it. The Cowboys in 2 days have signed a long snapper. I mean, they're all in. They're all in.
Yeah, but they have cap issues.
They got to get that Dak contract
right
out. Yeah, well, it's not like this snuck up on them. I mean, did they turn around last week and go, holy mackerel, does that say $59.4 million against the cap? Get Dak on the phone. We got to reduce this.
And CeeDee Lamb's got to get paid, and Mike has got to get paid, and yeah,
which begs the question, who are all these people they're paying? They haven't paid this guy, they haven't paid this guy. Well, then where's all the money gone? I've had like 4 guys get up and leave this week. Van Der Esch is going to retire because he can't play anymore because of his neck. I mean, who's making all this money?
You already said it. It's Dak. At least on the cap, it's Dak. No matter how much the cap has gone to, that hits a monster.
Oh, it's big. That's big. There's no doubt about it. Meanwhile, Mahomes reworked his deal yesterday to give the Chiefs another $21 million in cap room. Can that guy do any more for that franchise?
The actual answer is no. No, David.
But he will.
Yeah, I guess. I guess, just for the heck of it, he'll throw a few more touchdowns. But my goodness, what more can he do for that franchise? Man, oh man. What a guy. So I'm just amused by middle of the afternoon today. I'm going to be torn because we got, the big tournaments, college hoops, if you're into the, first or second round of the big boy tournaments. But there's a part of me that's going to want to flip over and go, is there anybody left to be signed?
They're just going to talk about the guys that were signed on Monday.
Yeah,
Well,
that'll bother me. It's like, no. You already did the 7 hours on Monday. You can't do it again. I mean, what is this, a best of Miller and Moulton? I mean, come on now.
What, did ESPN get an echo today?
So that's going to amuse me this afternoon.
All right. Well, fair enough. I can tell you I won't watch a lot of the free agent frenzy. I watched it on Monday and Tuesday. The 2 days that they were signing free agents.
Right. Thank you. Besides, Monday and Tuesday, it felt like, I don't know, something nefarious was going on. Because while it was legal, it just seemed a little unseemly, right? This was the legalized tampering period. So it was exciting on Monday and Tuesday. It was like you were doing something you're not supposed to do. Now today, whatever. This is back to following the rules. Mark, I felt like Monday and Tuesday was the substitute teacher. And now the regular teacher showed back up today. It's like, oh, really?
The only thing better than a substitute teacher was a substitute teacher for 2 days. That was like a vacation.
Right. You walked in the next day, you went, all right. Now we know what we can get away with and everything. This is great.
Then if it was bad enough, they'd give you the one sub one day and a different one the next day, and it was just hell for those teachers.
Hey, what happened to Charlie? Oh, no, Charlie said, please give me
anything but Mrs. Crocker's class. I can't have that again. Those kids are awful.
Right. Give me some English lit class instead. Please, I'd rather do that. Did you ever substitute teach?
No. No. Why did you?
No.
I did.
I almost. I was looking into it.
Trent, you were a substitute teacher?
That was my main gig when I was home sick. Back home in Michigan. 4 days a week. I loved it.
What grades? All?
It was an elementary school. So I would do anything from kindergarten up to 6th grade. And it was
did any of the kids in kindergarten actually have more energy than you?
A handful.
Were any of them happier than you?
No.
It's good.
Mind you, this is while he was undergoing cancer treatment.
Exactly. Right. This is,
some days better than others. It was
right.
fun.
This is when they were tapping him on the shoulder going, the future, we're optimistic. Right. Mm-hmm. So there were 2 kids who had more energy than you and nobody was happier than you. So in other words, you were the substitute teacher. What were you, Jim Harbaugh in front of the class? Hey, kids, anybody got it better than us?
With different word choice, yeah. Because I'd rather die than rip off Jim Harbaugh. But
whoa, look at that.
Corny. He's too corny for me. Can't do it.
He's having a tough time these days, Mark.
He really is.
He really is. The Michigan State alum, his basketball team is staggering to the finish line. Michigan wins a football national championship. His hockey team's lost 6 in a row and is blowing a surefire playoff spot. And he gets excited when his basketball team wins their 11th game of the year.
Right. And he's still managing to be glass half full instead of glass half empty. That's, if you really think about it, it's remarkable, David.
So is this the backup plan, Trent? And I'm being serious for 1 second because Miller and Moulton have discussed over the years the backup plan. And mine is some kind of delivery, from pizza delivery to just driving like a UPS or Amazon truck or something like that. That's my backup plan.
Oh yeah,
Well-
I mean, I minored in education for like 2 years in college, and then I just dropped it because it got to the point where I was going to have to start doing the student teaching, and that
Right.
it wasn't Plan A, and therefore I
Right.
couldn't devote
Right.
all that time and energy to it. But yeah, I mean, if something were to happen, God forbid, I love kids.
So in other words, you looked at your parents and you said, "Hey, I've narrowed it down to 2 things. All right. And you know my love for teaching. Okay. But I'm actually going to try something that pays worse.
That's one
If,
way to put it, but yeah,
if that's okay. And I'm going to have to travel around and go from city to city and be a bit of a nomad and make no money at all. Can I try that out first?
Go for it. Go for it, kid. There you go.
we will support anything you do.
Yep. That's true. That comes with the whole parenthood thing, the unconditional love. Yep.
The unconditional love, sure. Do you have to support anything?
Financially, no. Oh, no. You can take them off the payroll. You can just wake up one morning and go, "You're fired." Absolutely, you can. Right. Problem is, you usually have to negotiate it with a co-boss. All right. And then somehow it just doesn't work.
Mark Miller for Molly Maid. Why Molly Maid, you ask? Trust. Moulton was a customer for 15 years. Affordability. Didn't I just say Moulton was a customer for 15 years? Worry-free services. Our professional house cleaners are fully insured and a 24-hour warranty. Call Molly Maids today at 239-774-5839. That's 239-774-5839 or online at mollymaid.com/FTMYERS. That's mollymaid.com/FTMYERS.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung has successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida for over 30 years. As a former prosecutor, the information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, a criminal matter, or involved in an auto accident, call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung. I'm a local attorney with local knowledge to assist you through the process. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Offices in Fort Worth.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
Are you ready to make March unforgettable? No, seriously. Get ready to be dazzled as Jason and Todd with the Diamond District invite you to their largest diamond event ever, featuring one of the world's largest diamond cutters, beginning Friday, March 15th, running through Sunday the 17th. Picture this: GIA certified diamonds ranging from 1 carat to a stunning 11 carat diamonds, all at the lowest prices you'll find anywhere. No, seriously, the lowest prices. And that's not all. A. Jaffe, one of America's top bridal designers, will be joining the Diamond District for this extraordinary event. Whether you're searching for that perfect engagement ring to symbolize your love or looking to treat yourself to a timeless piece of fine jewelry, the Diamond District has exactly what you need. With their wide selection of fine jewelry at unbeatable prices, you're sure to find something that will take your breath away. No, seriously. Don't miss out on the biggest diamond event of the year, Friday the 15th through Sunday the 17th.
At the Diamond District.
You were listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
No, they have not reworked Dak's contract yet.
Who do you think Cowboys fans are most frustrated with?
Jerry Jones.
I mean, that'd be my answer, but I am not a Cowboys fan.
Do we want to have some fun? It is mixing sports and politics. Although tough to take the politics seriously. But with Robert F. Kennedy Jr.
Oh, and Aaron Rodgers.
toying with the idea of either Jesse Ventura or Aaron Rodgers as vice president, at least the one's been governor of a state. Which athlete do you think would make the best vice president? And put 3 or 4 athletes up there.
I like that.
We can put LeBron up there to see him get no votes in this part of the world.
Tiger. Do we go Mahomes? Do we Steph? I mean, who are we? I was just having some fun. Could put Brady. Yep. Which quarterback would be your vice president? I'm sorry.
Mahomes, Burrow, Josh Allen.
But
Dak.
they don't ever talk. I mean, if we're going to do a vice president, you got to jump into the pool. And
Well,
guys
also-
talk about this
Colin
stuff. And then
Kaepernick.
you're going down a road that I don't know if we want to go down.
No, I know that. I know. Plus, also remember, you have to be 35 to be president. So actually, most of the current quarterbacks you can't do.
Can they put a
Kirk Cousins for Secretary of State. I want him negotiating on our behalf.
Or at least Secretary of the Treasury. Totally.
So you got to be 35. Can they put a ceiling on that, or can they do that anytime soon?
Well, no, we're testing the ceiling right now.
The ceiling is non-existent. Open air stadium.
The ceiling is Weekend at Bernie's, but
All right, here we go.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, only on the Florida Sports Network.
21 minutes past the hour. Top of the morning to you. How the heck are you? We're Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on Twix, Twitter/X. Hope you've had a good week so far. We'll get over the hump together, or at least we'll get you through the morning. We'll get you to darn near the halfway point of the week, right? If lunch is the halfway point of the week, we will just about get you there this morning. Good show lined up for you. JP Shadrick will join us. He can be a double correspondent, Mark, for us today, because he's got that Jags connection. He's part of the Jags radio network, Jaguars.com, all that good stuff. But he's broadcasting the players. He's doing the international feed. He's doing the world feed for the Players Championship. So
Good
we can
gig.
talk. Yeah, so we can talk a little football and a little golf.
You get fired up for the players, or right now are you just so off of the tour and what the split has become that you're not as fired up for any golf tournament that's not a major anymore?
Yeah, the latter. And I'm being very serious here. Tell me the golfer you're excited about watching right now. Any golfer.
David, see, the guy who gets hot. I'm a little different than you. When I can watch that, if it was that Dunlop kid that we never heard of that won a tournament as an amateur, all of a sudden I'm all in. If someone starts going low and starts playing great golf, I'm in, particularly if two of them. But Zalatoris, I do like. If there's a guy I like to watch Zalatoris.
And he's back healthy and has got a couple top tens. So that's good. Okay. All right. Like, and I said this 2 years ago. I find Scotty Scheffler to be staggeringly boring. An amazing ball striker. But just, I mean, honestly, I feel as if 3 times around we need to check his pulse. And so if he just had seemingly a personality, I guess I could get behind him. But I'm not into rooting for machines. So as amazing a ball striker as he is, he doesn't do anything for me. You know, like I wasn't a Pete Sampras guy in tennis. His game, obviously, historically great. Okay. You know, but Pete, are you breathing? I mean, you know, that's kind of how I felt like watching him for 12 years. So I will say this. I enjoy Spieth because he hits it all over the place. And he does running commentary throughout his round. So we don't need the announcers. We just need the camera and just make sure you're close enough to him that we get the Spieth audio. That's all. So I do like Spieth. He's kind of like a younger right-handed version of my favorite guy, which is Phil.
And I like Hovland's another guy that I really enjoy
There you
watching
go.
play the game.
Right.
So between Zalatoris and Hovland, they're 2 young guys that I think have great game, great future. I like watching both of them play.
Yeah.
So, and then for me, I'm fine with whomever plays, whoever's hot. Even Scheffler, when he was at like 8 1-putts on the Sunday round last week, that's heady stuff. When they're playing that well, I don't care if he has the personality of a wet noodle. If he's going to go shoot 65 on Sunday, I'm interested.
I actually think a wet noodle has more of a personality than Scheffler. I don't want you speaking that badly of wet noodles anymore. If I was a wet noodle, I'd be offended.
I understand.
Okay.
I understand. And so to all the wet noodles out there, I apologize.
We've had to issue a few apologies over the years. You know, you had to apologize to redheads back in the day.
That's right.
Now you're apologizing to.
Did I ever apologize to redheads?
It wasn't sincere. Okay, I can tell you that it wasn't sincere. It was very much along the lines of, if I have ever offended any redheads, ... You know, one of those apologies.
And for those wondering what this is that I made the comment, a redheaded stepchild. And there was someone listening to the show who apparently had a stepdaughter who was redhead.
Right.
A redhead. And this person thought what I said over the air is the worst commentary that's ever been said, because I said they treated so-and-so like a redheaded stepchild. So for that, I had to apologize to all redheads and all stepchildren, I believe.
I don't know if you went so far as to apologize to the stepchildren. I think we just focused on the redheaded part. I think if I've offended any redheads out there, I'm sorry. It was one of those. You can't put an if in an apology. I mean, you can't say if I've offended anybody. No, if you apologize, you just apologize. I apologize for my comments. And then those hearing the apology decide whether or not they were offended. You can't qualify the apology. And it's like you didn't qualify the wet noodle apology. That was very sincere. You apologized to wet noodles. But you qualified the redheaded apology many years ago.
And I love redheads. I do.
Right. I believe that was part of the apology too.
So at least I'm consistent.
Yes.
21,000 the text line if you want to jump in about stepkids, wet noodles, or anything else we're talking about.
Right. Anything that's on your mind. I am a little fearful these last 2 days. I feel as if I turn around, I've missed a signing. Like, I have barked at the wife a couple times these last 2 days. She goes, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "I'm working." And she's looking at me like, "You're staring at the television. Yes, I'm glaring at the crawl. I feel as if you distract me, I'm going to miss Jordan Poyer signing with the Dolphins. Okay? Stop bothering me. I do feel as if I need, see, I don't sign up for those alerts. Like, Woj bombs, Shams alerts. My phone doesn't beep and go off with all these signings. I feel that I came very close the last 2 days to signing up for one of those. Because I just feel as if some signings are falling through the cracks.
I think we'll be okay.
Did you ever have a Woj bomb? Okay, doesn't that sound like, you go to the bar?
Sounds like a Jaeger bomb. And
yes.
I passed by those a long time ago in my life, and I never want another one. So I'll stay away from Woj bombs the same way I'm staying away from Jaeger bombs in my latter adult life.
Hey, guys, look, Woj bombs are 2 for $5. What do you say? You want one? That's what I always felt when, they were talking about that. What do you think a wind horse would be? Whoo, man, that'd be big.
A wind chime? Or
right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It'd probably be, what would the base be for that? Probably just a really heavy IPA.
Originating from Ohio. Correct. Now we're getting a little carried away. You can tell we're midway through the week.
And you can tell it's been 2 days of staring at a crawl watching free agency.
For at least one of us.
So coming up, David can tell you that Eric Kendrick signed a 1-year deal with the 49ers.
He did what? Oh, my goodness. I've gotten absolutely nothing done these last 2 days. I've been walking around the house with a big notepad and a pen. Wait a minute. What was that? Roquan Davis went where? Oh, man. This free agency thing, it's got to be over. I need to get a good night's sleep.
It's going to slow down.
Thank goodness.
Now we'll just have to hear about all the players. And this is where it'll get confusing. Now that they have reportedly agreed to a contract, we'll get that they've signed a contract. That'll be the breaking news all day today, is that guys that we've known about for 2 days that'll sign contracts later today.
Miller and Moulton. There were five NCAA bids that were secured last night, and a bubble buster on the women's side. We'll tell you about it next.
Located on the East Trail, locally owned Naples Tiki Bar and Grill is an outdoor eatery next to the Hitching Post Shopping Center. Island-inspired food with a true tiki theme. The best place in Naples to enjoy the beautiful weather in Southwest Florida. The Naples Tiki Bar and Grill offers a great menu for dine-in or takeout. Enjoy our famous pulled pork, huge burgers, and tiki bar cocktails. Don't miss happy hour every day from 3 to 6 and live music 7 days a week. See you soon at the Naples Tiki Bar and Grill, 11498 Tamiami Trail East.
Mark Miller for Molly Maid. Why Molly Maid, you ask? Trust. Moulton was a customer for 15 years. Affordability. Didn't I just say Moulton was a customer for 15 years? Worry-free services. Our professional house cleaners are fully insured and a 24-hour warranty. Call Molly Maids today at 239-774-5839. That's 239-774-5839 or online at mollymaid.com/FTMYERS. That's mollymaid.com/FTMYERS.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
Are you ready to make March unforgettable? No, seriously. Get ready to be dazzled as Jason and Todd with the Diamond District invite you to their largest diamond event ever, featuring one of the world's largest diamond cutters, beginning Friday, March 15th, running through Sunday the 17th. Picture this: GIA certified diamonds ranging from 1 carat to a stunning 11 carat diamonds, all at the lowest prices you'll find anywhere. No, seriously, the lowest prices. And that's not all. A. Jaffe, one of America's top bridal designers, will be joining the Diamond District for this extraordinary event. Whether you're searching for that perfect engagement ring to symbolize your love or looking to treat yourself to a timeless piece of fine jewelry, the Diamond District has exactly what you need. With their wide selection of fine jewelry at unbeatable prices, you're sure to find something that will take your breath away. No, seriously. Don't miss out on the biggest diamond event of the year, Friday the 15th through Sunday the 17th.
At the Diamond District.
You for listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network. All right, David, stay quiet for a second. A little trivia for the Twitch chat room.
Okay.
Today at 83 was the first USFL overtime game between Birmingham and Oakland. Give me the nickname of the two teams. Birmingham's easy. Oakland, maybe a little tougher. And don't go look it up. That's right. That's right on Birmingham. Jay Gunn with the Birmingham Stallions.
Right.
Jay Gunn with a 2 for 2.
Oh, come on. You got a bowl, buddy. That must have been a big USFL fan.
You win some rice-a-roni.
Not the Oakland, but the San Francisco treat. Sorry, dropping the kid off. Apparently, Brown Chicken, there was only one deal that I guess the player decided not to take. It was announced that the Jags signed a kicker, and then he decided to go back to Denver. Well, then, Jay Gunn, tell the kid we say thanks. Gotta get the pop chart out of the way here. It's in the middle of the starting five.
I actually had a piece of toast this morning before I came to work.
Hey.
Only because I made a loaf of bread yesterday and nobody wanted the end for their sandwich. So
Really?
for the sandwich.
I love the end. Even for the sandwich. I use it as the top. Love it. It's a psychological thing because obviously it's not like the end tastes any differently from any other slice.
But more crust. My daughter doesn't like crust. Plus the end's delicious toasted.
Oh, it's awesome. Homemade bread. That's very impressive.
Got the bread maker and everything. Make a loaf a week. Got my own recipe and everything.
Here we go.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, only on the Florida Sports Network. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
22 minutes till the top of the hour, an hour away from JP Shadrick joining us to talk Jags and the Players' Championship, which gets underway tomorrow. It's a Wednesday, so Seth Everett will join us. And let's go some bracketology. Shelby Mast will join us near the end of the show, at least along the network. Who's in, who's out as the major conference tournaments start, and who needs a couple wins to play their way in. Right now, it is time for
The Starting Five. 5 stories you need to know. It's the Starting Five on Miller and Moulton. Here's number 1.
I'm going to try to do this in some rhyme or reason, but it's really difficult because I've got too many things written down on a piece of paper and I got squiggly lines and everything. The Dolphins signed former Buck defensive end Shaq Barrett to a 1-year deal. They did the same with former Bills safety Jordan Poyer. The Bucks re-signed Levante David, 1 year, $10 million. Joe Mixon ends up getting traded, not cut, traded from Cincy to Houston. There was another trade yesterday, the Steelers and the Panthers. Pittsburgh sends wide receiver Deontay Johnson to Carolina for cornerback Dante Jackson. So Deontay Johnson traded for Dante Jackson and a pick swap. Derrick Henry, official with Baltimore right after the show yesterday, 2 years, $16 million, could be up to $20 million. People just think that that's a match made in heaven.
It sure sounds like it. I mean, what they'll be able to do with the two of them running the football seems almost unfair at times.
Well, and he's replacing Gus Edwards. Gus Edwards had right about 200 carries and 13 touchdowns, a little over 800 yards, a little over 4 yards a carry. If it's time to start, scaling Henry's workload back, I mean, that's like 12 carries a game and a touchdown a game. My guess is he gets a little more work than that, but he will probably get less carries than he's been getting throughout his career in Tennessee. And he's at the stage where that's probably a good thing. The Steelers end up being the one signing Patrick Queen. I got to be honest. I think they got a deal here. 3 for $41. We talked about Detroit. Really? Detroit wouldn't go 3 for $42 for Patrick Queen? I mean, remember, him and Tomlin actually got into it. This whole Ravens-Steelers rivalry. This whole Giant fans being upset with Saquon going to the Eagles. How about a Raven going to Pittsburgh or vice versa? I mean, talk about you're dead to me. Anyway, some quarterbacks on the move yesterday, Mark. Jameis goes to Cleveland, 1 year, almost $9 million. Tyrod Taylor stays in Jersey, different locker room. He goes with the Jets to back up Aaron Rodgers or to become the starter in case he's anyway. 2 years, $8 million. Drew Lock signs with the Giants, 1 year, $5 million. Lock beat him last year on Monday Night Football. Played really well. Funny how these things work. Jags lost corner Darius Williams. He signed with the Rams, a 3-year deal. Marcus Mariota, back to the quarterbacks. I can't believe he's still in the league. Washington signed him.
Well, they had a bunch of money under the cap. Apparently, they felt they had to spend it on somebody, and Mariota gets the lucky draw.
Why? He can't play.
David, I have no idea.
I mean, and apparently they're going to throw the North Carolina kid who they played all last year. They may just throw him onto the scrap heap. Wait, what? C.J. Gardner-Johnson back with the Eagles, a 3-year deal. Houston signed Danielle Hunter, the Vikings defensive end. 2 years, big money though, $49 million. Atlanta signed Bears wide receiver Darnell Mooney, 3-year deal for $39 million. there are a lot of other deals. I will say Carolina upgrading the offensive line, Mark, in front of Bryce Young. They spent all that money on Robert Hunt. They also spent $13 million a year on Seattle guard Damian Lewis. So they are being serious about, hey, we're going to fix this offensive line and give this kid a chance. They just got him a wide receiver and 2 offensive linemen so far in the first 2 days of free agency. So, I mean, they're still going to be terrible, but they're going to give the kid a chance. And Mahomes freed up nearly $22 million for the Chiefs, yet they lost linebacker Willie Gay, who signs a 1-year, $5 million deal with the Saints. Roquan Davis left the Dolphins for the Colts for a 2-year deal for $14 million. Did you catch any of Nick Saban's testimony yesterday?
I caught the cliff notes, if you will.
We're probably going to have to do a whole segment on this a little bit later on in the show. Nick's coming off like Clint Eastwood, isn't he?
Yes, he is.
I mean, the coolest coach going for all these years is now get off my lawn guy.
When it comes to what's going on in college football, he is.
He says NIL has ruined college football, and all the players care about is getting paid. And as people said, are you saying this from your $11 million lake house or your $17 million beach house? Where are you making these comments from? So, and now he's going to have a voice. I mean, he's going to be on game day.
Yep.
So
should be really happy and
right.
Should love hearing him talk about college football now. And I'm finished. We have more on this later.
Okay. Anyway, he testified sitting next to Texas Senator Ted Cruz, who, by the way, Ted Cruz says there's a 50-50 chance Congress is going to pass legislation by the end of the year that's going to provide antitrust protection and regulation to college athletics. Let me get this straight. You guys aren't going to do anything all year, but you're going to pass college NIL legislation? That's what you guys are going to get done this year? I don't know. There might be a couple more important things. No? All right. According to sources on the College Football Playoff Committee, they are, quote, on target, unquote, to get a deal done by the end of this week to work out the financial details as to how they're going to split all the revenue. And in a nutshell, it looks like the Big Ten and the SEC have lost quite a few fights behind closed doors, but they're winning this one. You know, they wanted 4 teams in the playoff guaranteed. They're only going to get 3. They wanted the top seeds guaranteed. It doesn't look as if that's going to pass, but they're holding firm on the money. They're going to get the money. Looks like they're going to split about 60% of the money. College hoops last night. Miami's season came to an end. Thank goodness. Do you know what the Canes' final record was? 15-17. They went to the Final Four last year. That's not good. BC eliminates them from the ACC tournament 81-65. UCF will face BYU next in the Big 12 tournament as UCF beat Oklahoma State by 15. 20-loss season for the Cowboys, by the way. All right. The Colonial went to Charleston in overtime over Stony Brook. Congratulations, they're in. Oakland wins the Horizon over Milwaukee. How about the head coach of Oakland, Greg Campy? And if you don't know, that's a school in Michigan. This is 40th year as head coach. He got that job in his late 20s. 40 years. He's like best buddies with Izzo. And he's done a really good job. They're top of that conference seemingly every year the last 20 years. And, you know, they've gone to the tournament quite a few times. They win the Horizon. Wagner wins the Northeast. South Dakota State won the Summit. St. Mary's beat the Zags. 69-60 last night to win the West Coast Conference. One other men's score, FIU season stays alive. They advance in the Conference USA tournament. They beat Jacksonville State 76-67. Two women's scores I want to throw out there. The FGCU women have won their 21st in a row, I believe, next to South Carolina. It's the longest win streak in the country. They're in the ASUN final after winning by 22 at home. And for those that care, if we pay attention to bids possibly being stolen on the men's side, a stunner in the West Coast Conference final yesterday. Portland beat the women of Gonzaga 67-66, and that's a bid stealer. So if you're a fan of a women's team that's on the bubble, well, there's one less spot after yesterday. NBA, a lot of bad games last night, Mark. Knicks beat Philly by 27. Give it up to the Pacers. They went in OKC, though, and beat the Thunder by 10. Indiana is now the 6th seed, not in the play-in in the East. Sixers Heat would be a 7-8 play-in right now. Boston beat Utah by 16. They've won 51 games this year. Minnesota went into L.A. and rocked the Clippers without Karl Anthony Towns, 118-100. Those are the 3 and 4 seeds, respectively, in the West. And Sacramento beat Milwaukee by 35.
So much for that great defense in Milwaukee.
Right, 129-94. Orlando, by the way, you know, you asked a trivia question during the commercial break on Twitch. I'll give a trivia question. I'll answer it in a few minutes. Name the head coach of the Orlando Magic. He got a 4-year extension. We'll tell you who he is coming up. NHL, you know, the Florida Panthers played a little game. It's a long regular season. You can get bored. They spotted a really good team, like a legit cup contender, a 3-goal lead on the road. And then they said, okay, now we're going to play. We're going to see if we can come back. And sure enough, they did. Down 3-0 late second to the Dallas Stars. They scored 1 at the end of the second, 3 in the third, and they won 4-3. Rangers beat the Hurricanes 1-0. Shesterkin with 28 saves. That probably will win the division for the Rangers. Buffalo handed Detroit their 6th straight loss. And, I mean, it wasn't even close, 7-3. What the heck's going on with your Wings?
Larkin left and they've fallen apart. That is just pathetic.
And right now they'd be out of the playoffs. They lose the tiebreaker to the Islanders for the final playoff spot right now. Big win for the Flyers last night. They pick up 2 points they needed, 3-2 over San Jose. And Vegas trailed the Kraken 4-2 in the third. They tied it. And then Jack Eichel on a breakaway in overtime, his 200th career goal for the Golden Knights. And finally, the Yankees, you heard David Sampson on our show yesterday say, listen, they know the results of Garrett Cole's elbow MRI right away. Not according to the Yankees. They did tests. They need more tests. And he's probably, according to Aaron Boone, probably not going to be ready for opening day. David Sampson said this is all horse hockey. They know exactly what's going on. They just don't want to let Cole know because his agent is Scott Boras, and they're negotiating with Boras to try to sign Blake Snell, and they don't want to give him any leverage. So, but the official story, Mark, is more testing on Garrett Cole's elbow. You know how sometimes you go and they go, we didn't get a close, we got to do the exam again, you know. By the way, Jamal Mosley, head coach of the Orlando Magic, who got a 4-year extension yesterday. And at 9 minutes before the hour, that was
the Starting Five every weekday morning at this time on Miller and Moulton.
And David, a little follow-up that also kind of goes with the Starting Five. Dallas Seavey, who we talked about, who gutted the Moose and had to take the 2-hour penalty for not gutting the Moose properly.
right.
Won records-breaking 6th Iditarod yesterday.
Even with a 2-hour penalty?
Even with the delay.
Wow. His mushers are good.
Yes.
That's like running behind the Eagles' offensive line, isn't it?
That's a tush push right there.
Is it ever? Is it ever? Miller and Moulton. Yeah, Nick. I mean, when did Nick get so grumpy?
I think Nick's been grumpy for a year and a half, and now that he's left Alabama, it's all bubbling to the surface.
Is this too much time with Miss Terry? Is this? Does he
think,
actually?
I think Nick is. I mean, Nick's angry about college football and left because of it. Like he had to leave.
No, he didn't have to leave. He had that job for life if he
Right.
wanted it. Hell, they'd let him take the spring and summer off and come back in August. But apparently, college football's ruined. It's done. I mean, I'm ready for Nick to say college football's dead to me with the way this week has gone. Miller and Moulton, JP Shadrick next hour.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
Are you ready to make March unforgettable? No, seriously. Get ready to be dazzled as Jason and Todd with the Diamond District invite you to their largest diamond event ever, featuring one of the world's largest diamond cutters, beginning Friday, March 15th, running through Sunday the 17th. Picture this, GIA certified diamonds ranging from 1 carat to a stunning 11 carat diamonds, all at the lowest prices you'll find anywhere. No, seriously, the lowest prices. And that's not all. A. Jaffe, one of America's top bridal designers, will be joining the Diamond District for this extraordinary event. Whether you're searching for that perfect engagement ring to symbolize your love or looking to treat yourself to a timeless piece of fine jewelry, the Diamond District has exactly what you need. With their wide selection of fine jewelry at unbeatable prices, you're sure to find something that will take your breath away. No, seriously. Don't miss out on the biggest diamond event of the year, Friday the 15th through Sunday the 17th.
At the Diamond District.
Hello, friends and family of Southwest Florida. Are you looking to tap into the electric vehicle market? Well, look no further because we here at Southwest Florida Golf Carts have just what you need. E-bikes, golf carts, LSVs, scooters, and more. Come down and talk with one of our experienced sales reps, have a soda and a smile, and you could be cruising the streets in your new EV today. Stop by the store or visit our website at flgolfcarts.com and enter for a chance to win $100 off your next purchase by answering John's monthly sports question.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung specializes in criminal defense, DUI, personal injury, nursing home claims, and auto accidents. I'm a former prosecutor with over 34 years of experience. The information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, time is of the essence to maintain your driving privileges. Call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung for a free consultation. At the law firm of Michael F. Hornung, we are committed to excellence in your representation. Being a local attorney with local knowledge is clutch to the success of your case. For over 30 years, we have successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Our offices are conveniently located in Fort Myers. Visit online at mfh-law.com.
Mark Miller for Molly Maid. Why Molly Maid, you ask? Trust. Moulton was a customer for 15 years. Affordability. Didn't I just say Moulton was a customer for 15 years? Worry-free services. Our professional house cleaners are fully insured and a 24-hour warranty. Call Molly Maids today at 239-774-5839. That's 239-774-5839 or online at mollymaid.com/FTMYERS. That's mollymaid.com/FTMYERS. You were listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
So do you want to do a Nick Saban poll question? Nick Saban says NIL has ruined college football. Do you agree? Ambient, I have no idea what the Broncos are going to do at quarterback. I'm wondering, is that the last possible place for Justin Fields to go?
J.J. McCarthy.
Gotta get ahead of Minnesota. Well, was Roethlisberger? No, he was 11th. That's right. They took Ben at 11. Boy, top 10 pick for the Steelers. I thought Cowher had a 6-10 season. $2,000. Gotcha. It's a good pick. Wow, top 5 pick. Jeez, I literally was gonna say it's got to be Bradshaw. They followed up Joe Green with Bradshaw. Adam, I not following the free agent exploits of CJ Beathard. Max got traded, by the way, Adam. So he's playing on the final year of his rookie deal because the Jags aren't going to pick up his 5th-year option. And I think CJ's still with the Jags.
Here we go.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network. And now here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Hour 2 of Miller and Moulton on this hump day. Thanks for getting over it together with us. Hope your week is off to a good start. JP Shadrick to join us in a little more than 30 minutes time. We'll talk some NFL free agency. He's also calling the Players Championship, doing the international feed. So we'll talk a little golf as well. Seth Everett 1 hour from now. And we'll do a little bracketology as the big conference tournaments are just getting underway. Who's hanging by a thread? Who has to avoid the first round upset? And how many wins do certain teams need in order to secure their spot? Bracketology with Shelby Mast coming up in about 90 minutes time. You know, we don't have a poll question.
Oh, yeah, we do.
Whoa.
Don't say things like that. You actually gave me the poll question. You had an idea. I typed it, sent it. We're off.
What quarterback would be your vice president? Is that the poll question? No?
No, that one I ignored. I don't know if you realize that I largely ignored the two of you going through that diatribe earlier in the show.
Just if you want to play that game at home, remember you have to be 35 years old to be president. So, if you start, and that's what the story about Aaron Rodgers is on the short list to be RFK Jr.'s vice president. So we were
So
having a little
really
fun.
take that presidential campaign seriously now. Can't we?
Things seem to be going swimmingly there for that independent third party pursuit. But
that PAC that paid all that money for that Super Bowl ad saw the list and went, "What the hell do we waste that money for?"
We need to follow up that $7 million with an NFL quarterback for vice president. That should secure the. Tell you what, though, now I'm interested in the debate. Okay, at least the VP debate, that would be fun. Anyway, also
Kyrie not available.
Could anything be more New York Jets if this actually happened? So what happened to Aaron Rodgers in 2023? Well, he got hurt on the fourth play of the season, out for the year. Well, what about 2024? I decided to run for vice president. I mean, honestly, even for the Jets, that would be like, wow, we've never had that before. All right.
We went to the old guy getting off my lawn. And I don't mean Clint Eastwood, I mean Nick Saban. Nick Saban said that NIL has ruined college football. Do you agree? Yes or no? It's that simple.
First off, don't you have to agree with this premise that college football has been ruined? And then you have to determine what it is that ruined it. Can we have an adult conversation? Since we started off in a way talking about running for office, and there are many of us that wish we would have adult conversations about the real issues of the day. Can we have an adult conversation about the real issue of college athletics right now? Can we try 10 or so minutes till we go to break?
Sure.
Okay. I'm going to ask you a question. Mark, how long have they been paying for players?
As long as they've been playing college football.
You mean it didn't start in 2021 or 2022?
No.
Wait, so you mean to tell me you are pretty positive that the Alabamas and the Ohio States of the world have paid for players in the past?
Reggie Bush got a house.
Hell, his family got a house.
Right. But that's kind of the way it was before. The players didn't necessarily get paid directly. Parents and hangers-on got paid directly.
Right. Reggie Bush is like, well, I want my Heisman back. Well, you got a house. No, actually, I got the car. They got the house. Okay, let's get it right now. I got the car. So
when we watched Blue Chips all those years ago, did we
late
think they
90s
made those stories up?
Right, exactly. That was complete 30 years ago, by the way. Blue Chips is now 30 years old. Right, those stories just came out of nowhere. Wait a minute, they're paying players in college athletics? What? No. On a college basketball team? What? No. I mean, wasn't there the famous late 80s with Kentucky basketball? Wasn't like money in a FedEx envelope?
Yes.
Was it FedEx? I thought it was FedEx. Was it UPS? Somebody else?
You're right on FedEx.
I thought it was FedEx. Okay. But no, seriously. We're having an adult conversation here. How long do we think that the prominent programs have? And then, of course, it didn't come directly from Woody Hayes. It didn't come directly from Bear Bryant. No, they all had plausible deniability. Okay. But the system was set up. Okay. And, eventually, money found their way to that defensive end in Gulfport. I mean, come on. This is the conversation I'd want to have with Nick. Come on, Nick. This is a conversation I would love to have with him on game day. So you mean to tell me none of your players before the pandemic had received any money at the University of Alabama? Because I bet you I could line up 200 of them. Give me a month.
And the comment that Nick makes that I guess I have the issue with when it comes to that is that you have a pay-for-play system and a free agent system that has no guidelines. So there's no competitive, it starts here. So there's no competitive balance. I think there's going to be a lot of places that will say, we'll create a system where the rich get richer and the poor get poor, and eventually fans will look at it and say, I really don't want to watch this game. How's that different than 1972?
It's staggering.
That's the part, David, that the rich have always gotten richer in this sport. Why this makes it any different is laughable to me, except for the fact that maybe, just maybe, the rich and powerful Alabama doesn't have the money to keep up an NIL.
Nick, come on. You're in your early 70s. I asked you a question. When has college football ever had competitive balance? Now, that doesn't mean that you can't have a TCU in a title game. Georgia Tech used to be a prominent program. Okay? BYU won a national championship. Not saying you can't win. The Marlins have won 2 World Series. The Rays have gone to 2 World Series. But come on, when has college football ever had, quote, competitive balance? When has college football, Mark, ever been the NFL or the NHL?
Never. It's never been close. And you know, I mean, sure, UCF can throw the undefeated season on there. It was really nice. It was fun. But they tried to make sure that that never happens again to you.
I mean, listen, Nick, if you want competitive balance, let's do it. Let's do it. By the way, what's going on with all these conferences? We're trying to shrink them and put them out of business. You guys are trying to have Coke and Pepsi. You don't want a Sprite or a Dr. Pepper or what have you to be as equal to you. You're trying to do the banking and insurance industry right before our eyes. I mean, come on. There's no part of this sport that's interested in competitive balance. And Nick, you're now working for one of the 2 entities controlling the sport. And you're working for the biggest of the 2 entities controlling the sport.
The one that has done more to change college football than any other entity out there. Oklahoma and Texas aren't in the SEC without ESPN.
Period. I mean, you know, Nick, I mean, if you want competitive balance, by the way, you need to sit Greg Sankey and Tony Petitti down and say, guys, you got to stop. You got to stop right now. You can't go any further. You want a salary cap? Please sign me up. Sign me up. And by the way, you don't think University of Florida right now would love a salary cap? They ain't competing with Georgia right now. They'd love to get back on an even playing field. Do you know where the university, and even with Freddie Weeby raising millions, by the way, since we had him on the air a month ago. Okay, I mean, Florida's in the SEC, Mark. Florida's NIL is middle of the pack at best. Florida would love a salary cap.
So would Alabama.
Yes.
I mean, so would Alabama, David.
So that's the adult conversation. How long do you think we've had pay for play in college football? 60s, 70s, or 80s? That would be our poll question.
Or before.
Right? Or did Bud Wilkinson start it in the 50s at Oklahoma? Oh, unbelievable. NIL has ruined college football. Maybe, because now it's out in the open. Now we know about it. Now we know that Ohio State literally spent $5 million this offseason upgrading their roster. Mark, do you know Ohio State had more salary cap room than the Dolphins? Hello. And goodness knows everybody's got more salary cap room than the Saints.
And apparently the Cowboys.
And apparently the Cowboys, right.
Who had a better free agency period, Ohio State or Dallas? Oh, sorry.
I think the answer is definitely the Buckeyes.
Damn right it is.
Well, they went all in. The Buckeyes did.
Yeah, right. Somebody's all in here, and it's not the professional team.
No, there are, you know what? As far as all in the state of Texas, the Cowboys may rank last in football teams right now.
Right. In fact,
Incarnate Word is the only one a little bit below them.
the Houston Cougars are looking at the Cowboys going, are you guys going to get serious?
There might be a couple high schools that are more
Oh,
all in.
you're damn right there are.
So that's all. I mean, can we get real here, Nick? So that's the poll question. Nick claims NIL's ruined college football.
And I think a lot of people will agree with him. I think this will be a yes will win this vote.
Yep. The last 2-3 years, it's the first time we've been paying players in college athletics. Only in the last 2-3 years. That damn pandemic. Yep, that's what did it. Those players were sitting home thinking, you know, I should be making serious coin for doing this. Miller and Moulton. That's our poll question. That Mark Miller, the David Moulton, millerandmoulton.com.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung specializes in criminal defense, DUI, personal injury, nursing home claims, and auto accidents. I'm a former prosecutor with over 34 years of experience. The information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, time is of the essence to maintain your driving privileges. Call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung for a free consultation. At the law firm of Michael F. Hornung, we are committed to excellence in your representation. Being a local attorney with local knowledge is clutch to the success of your case. For over 30 years, we have successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Our offices are conveniently located in Fort Myers. Visit online at mfh-law.com.
Mark Miller for Molly Maid. Why Molly Maid, you ask? Trust. Moulton was a customer for 15 years. Affordability. Didn't I just say Moulton was a customer for 15 years? Worry-free services. Our professional house cleaners are fully insured and a 24-hour warranty. Call Molly Maids today at 239-774-5839. That's 239-774-5839 or online at mollymaid.com/FTMYERS. That's mollymaid.com/FTMYERS.
Hello, friends and family of Southwest Florida. Are you looking to tap into the electric vehicle market? Well, look no further because we here at Southwest Florida Golf Carts have just what you need. E-bikes, golf carts, LSVs, scooters, and more. Come down and talk with one of our experienced sales reps, have a soda and a smile, and you could be cruising the streets in your new EV today. Stop by the store or visit our website at flgolfcarts.com and enter for a chance to win $100 off your next purchase by answering John's monthly sports question.
You were listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Did you see what so I guess Lenny Kravitz got a Hollywood Walk of Fame thing yesterday?
Okay.
And did you hear what Zoe Kravitz said?
No.
Your relationship with the netted shirt is probably your longest one, and it works.
Wow.
That's funny. That's funny.
David, how would you like to answer this question? Real serious question here. Levante David deserves to be in the Hall of Fame, right?
I actually thought about that yesterday. I don't think of him as a Hall of Famer. I think of him as a Ring of Honor guy.
It's kind of where I was.
I think we've watered down most every Hall of Fame. I think the only Hall of Fame that you can accuse of being actually too strict is the LPGA Hall of Fame, because they have a strict point system. And even if you're 1 point shy, they won't make an exception. Feeney, it's actually a great question. Who do you think has been the better Buccaneer, Mike Evans or Levante David? Because I do think Mike Evans is a Hall of Famer. I mean, he's done something which literally no one else has done in the history of the game. 10 straight 1,000-yard seasons to start a career. Or at any point in the career. I don't even know if Jerry Rice. I think it's at any point, right? I mean, did Jerry have 10 in a row at one point?
No.
Because he didn't have it to start.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure no one's done it, period. I think this might be controversial, but I think he is the best Buccaneer of all time. You can make the argument, at least.
Well, I don't know about that. I mean, as terrific as Mike Evans is, I mean, Leroy Selman, Brooks, Sapp.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm just saying. I mean, he's been like David.
I think Warren Sapp's the answer to that question.
But he's produced for a decade plus now.
That's no denying it.
And he's got a Super Bowl ring.
By the way, it's 10 in a row to start a career is the record, because Jerry had 11 in a row during the height of his career.
Okay.
Is what we're being told. But that is an interesting question, Feeney. And that's legit. That's fair. About basically, who do you think has been the better Buck? Levante David or Mike Evans? Because if you think it's Levante David, well, then he should garner serious Hall of Fame consideration.
We got you, Mello. Here's what I would wait for. Ask your question when Shelby comes on the air, and then we'll read it.
Yeah.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, only on the Florida Sports Network.
21 minutes past the hour. Trent Bally and the play of the day coming up in a handful of minutes. And then, well, we're going to go to our guest line. JP Shadrick will join us. Seth Everett, Shelby Mast. We are going to kick quite a few things around. We just had what I thought was a pretty interesting discussion during the break. And if you ever get the chance, twitch.tv/Miller and Moulton, you can catch us during the breaks.
Well, it all started from a text message, David, which you don't have to join us on Twitch to do. You just have to text 21,000 and bang, you're in.
Bang?
It could be boom.
What are you, Mike Breen? What are you, John Madden, Ace Hardware? I love it when you go sound effects.
Zap, you're there. I'm going to go Batman, okay?
Pow!
But the question was asked on the text line, which, like the guest line, is available for a sponsorship.
What isn't? Hell, Miller and Moulton are available for separate sponsorships.
Or together. We're not choosy.
Right.
Text 21,000 if you want to join in on the fun.
Pow!
Zap! But he says, real serious question here, guys. Levante David deserves to be in the Hall of Fame, right? He should have won Defensive Player of the Year, not Luke Kuechly, but the Bucs sucked that year compared to the Panthers.
And it got us to talk about, well, this show believes Mike Evans is a Hall of Famer. He's done something no one else has done. He started his career with 10 straight 1,000-yard seasons. also how many receivers have ever had 10 straight 1,000-yard seasons. And I guess Jerry Rice at one point in his career had 11. So, Mike Evans has done something here is pretty damn impressive. We think Hall of Fame worthy. But here's a fair question. Who's the better buck, Lavonte David or Mike Evans? There's no wrong answer, obviously. It's your opinion. And they've both played what? Just about the same amount of time? At the exact same time. So, team success and everything, you got to put them on both.
Yeah, Lavonte David drafted in 2012, second-round pick, of course. Mike Evans drafted in the top 10 in 2014, 2 years later. Both one-team guys,
right?
Both Super Bowl champions.
Both clearly going to be Ring of Honor numbers, probably taken out of circulation. So, is Lavonte David a Hall of Famer? Well, just compare him to Mike Evans. Who's the better buck?
And that's such a hard question to answer. And to your point, there's no right answer. It's your opinion, but it's different sides of the ball. Mike Evans has been a dominant receiver every year of his career.
And Lavonte David's been a tackling machine for a dozen years.
Something I find interesting when you look at their resume, Lavonte David has made the first team All-Pro one time. Evans has never done it, which kind of is a shock to me. Now, that's a testament to how great the receivers have been in the league over the last decade. Because how many make it? 3 make the first team?
Tops.
So it's hard to do, but David's got a leg up on that department.
And that, to Hall of Fame voters, does mean, All-Pro means something.
Mm-hmm.
Pro Bowls mean squadoosh.
Now, also, for what it's worth, both guys have made multiple second-team All-Pros, but to make the first team, to be top 3 or 2 at your position, David's done it once. Evans has never done it, for what it's worth. I go Mike Evans, though. That's my answer.
I'll say this. Zach Thomas getting in the Hall of Fame, I think, helps Lavonte David when that time comes. And I think Mike Evans is going to help Lavonte David. Don't you think? And the same person makes the argument. I mean, the argument is made, somebody represents a team. I think it's Rick Stroud who's making the arguments now for the Tampa Bay players. And he's obviously been effective lately because some Bucks have been getting in. And he got Rondé in finally. Okay. And so, 8 to 10 years down the road, Mark, he's going to be making the case. And don't you think, say Mike Evans gets in first, don't you think he then comes back when Lavonte David's a finalist and go, oh, remember, you voted yes for Mike Evans. Let me just do the comparison, just as Buccaneers. So if you put him in, how do you not put this guy in? The other thing is the late Sam Mills got in the Hall of Fame, and great guy, not a Hall of Famer. And once they put him in, you know how that works, Mark. Lavonte David, a superior player to Sam Mills.
A couple other texters chimed in on what we were talking about last segment. I don't want to act like we don't pay attention to what they're saying as well about Nick Saban saying NIL ruined college football. This person says, no, TV money, AD greed, and accepting people who should not be accepted didn't appreciate an education.
So he believes college football has been ruined, but not by NIL.
Correct.
NIL's 4th or 5th on the list. Got it.
And this one just says, Nick, what's your solution? And that would be where I would go on ESPN. Okay, Nick. We know that players have been receiving money in a paper bag for 50 years. What's your solution? And his solution is, he did kind of say it in that answer. His solution is what Bryce Young got. He got the ads after getting the Heisman. He thinks that's the way, NIL in its true form, which is what the intentions were, and it went away in about 38 seconds.
Right. Originally, we were going to take all this money and put it in like an account for them. And then when they were done, we were going to hand them a check, right? Something like that?
Well, what he's talking about with Bryce Young is that Bryce Young earned his name, image, and likeness deals that he got. The Dr. Pepper deal that he got. The Nissan deal that he got that because he earned something on the field, not a pay for play. That's what that's the true sense of what NIL was meant to be. It lasted for an hour and a half.
It's our poll question today. Go to Miller_Moulton, that Mark Miller, the David Moulton. Nick Saban said NIL has ruined college football. Do you agree? Yes or no? 63% of you right now agree. 5 out of 8 go, oh yeah, Nick's right.
Time now for our Molly Maid play of the day. Trent, what do you have for us today?
There were 5 tickets punched to the big dance last night, including the winner of the Coastal Athletic Association, or the CAA. The 1-seed Charleston Cougars against the 7-seed Stony Brook Seawolves, and in classic March fashion, Cinderella took the Cougars to overtime, but a huge play by an upperclassman felt like the dagger.
Lost it. Taken away by Smith. Got Fulton with him. 2-on-1. Smith thinking 3. He's got it. Rain Smith. Huge triple for Charleston.
Rain Smith making it rain for the Cougars. The steal and the wing 3. That put them up 6 with 2 minutes to play in overtime, and they pretty much hang on there. They win their 2nd straight CAA tournament, and they're going to the big dance. They just have to watch on Selection Sunday to see who they're playing and when. And just another taste to keep us hanging on as the big tournaments get underway today. And last night, I guess, for the ACC.
And Mark, I said earlier that it's the Colonial. They did rename the Colonial the Coastal Athletic. So, yeah. But also, that's modern basketball right there. 2-on-1. What did it lead to? A dunk? A layup? No. I'm going to pull up and shoot a 3.
Absolutely.
In overtime of the
conference championship game. Right.
And you're right. That was the dagger. That shot right there pretty much put it out of reach. And they kept hanging around, getting a bucket here, bucket there. But CSC, the 1-seed, they're going to be, I think, a 13. A lot of people predicting for them in the tournament. It could be a team that, well, might want to pay attention to.
They made it last year. They got a little something under their belt.
They got a little history, College of Charleston, in the tournament. They do. So
that's our Molly Maid play of the day. Molly Maid, give your spouse the gift of a clean house. Call them today, 239-774-5839. That's 239-774-5839.
Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton. JP Shadrick is next.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung has successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida for over 30 years. As a former prosecutor, the information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, a criminal matter, or involved in an auto accident, call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung. I'm a local attorney with local knowledge to assist you through the process. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Offices in Fort Worth.
Located on the East Trail, locally owned Naples Tiki Bar and Grill is an outdoor eatery next to the Hitching Post Shopping Center. Island-inspired food with a true tiki theme. The best place in Naples to enjoy the beautiful weather in Southwest Florida. The Naples Tiki Bar and Grill offers a great menu for dine-in or takeout. Enjoy our famous pulled pork, huge burgers, and tiki bar cocktails. Don't miss happy hour every day from 3 to 6 and live music 7 days a week. See you soon at the Naples Tiki Bar and Grill, 11498 Tamiami Trail East.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
Are you ready to make March unforgettable? No, seriously. Get ready to be dazzled as Jason and Todd with the Diamond District invite you to their largest diamond event ever, featuring one of the world's largest diamond cutters, beginning Friday, March 15th, running through Sunday the 17th. Picture this, GIA certified diamonds ranging from 1 carat to a stunning 11 carat diamonds, all at the lowest prices you'll find anywhere. No, seriously, the lowest prices. And that's not all. A. Jaffe, one of America's top bridal designers, will be joining the Diamond District for this extraordinary event. Whether you're searching for that perfect engagement ring to symbolize your love or looking to treat yourself to a timeless piece of fine jewelry, the Diamond District has exactly what you need. With their wide selection of fine jewelry at unbeatable prices, you're sure to find something that will take your breath away. No, seriously. Don't miss out on the biggest diamond event of the year, Friday the 15th through Sunday the 17th.
At the Diamond District.
You were listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network. Well, good morning, JP.
Good morning, guys. How we doing?
Excellent. How are you?
I'm well, thank you. I'm well. What's going on?
So you fly home tonight?
Tonight, yeah. I'm supposed to be in the studio tomorrow at like 2, or we're on at 2. So.
Oh, okay. No morning coverage?
No, they do like the feature groups and all that stuff in the morning, and then the international stuff takes over when the actual TV goes up. That's what goes. So.
Well, that's good. That's better. I thought because those major championships, those are sun up to sundown fiascos.
Yeah. So. Yeah.
Where are you now?
I'm in New York.
Okay.
I'm here for a conference today, and then heading out tonight after it's over. So it's all good. What's new, man? I haven't talked to you all in a little while.
Guest appearances on mid-market radio shows. Is that the conference?
Yeah. This is like normal. This is just another day. Is what this is. Yeah. But it's a highlight. I'll tell you.
Come on. Hopefully you got some good eats on the company credit card.
Well, I went to a couple good. I've been.
You're good at that. You're good at that. You've hit Westwood One up for a couple of meals over the years.
I'll tell you what. If there's a per diem, I'll go right up to the edge and a little beyond sometimes, and that's okay.
Good for you.
It's good.
Good for you. We're going to be on in Jacksonville next month, apparently.
Oh,
that new streaming channel that Action News Jax is doing. They started up a couple of weeks ago. Apparently, we're going to be the morning show leading into Martineau's show.
Okay. All right. Welcome to Duval. Prepare to get hit. That's what Mike Peterson used to say.
Did you hear, by the way, that Fox, that Cox or whoever flipped a station from gospel to sports? There will actually technically be 4 sports stations in Jacksonville next month.
Gospel to sports.
Yeah. It's AM something, because the Bianchi show is now airing in the Jacksonville market. So you got Fox Sports Radio, ESPN Radio, 1010, and then this streaming channel.
It's a lot all of a sudden.
I know.
I mean, it's gone from 1 to 4 in however many years ESPN or Martineau's been on.
Yeah, I think he told me he'd been on 5 years on ESPN.
There you go.
So.
That's about right. Yep.
Yeah, because I guess he used to do afternoons on 1010.
He did.
What he was telling me.
That's right. That's right. Well, congratulations. That's great.
Yeah. Met with them last week. They're excited. I, of course, looked right at him and said, well, you guys haven't heard the show yet. So, okay. Actually, they have, though. I told them, I said, you're Jags insider.
I don't know about all that, but I can discuss things.
Well, put it this way. You're our Jags insider. It's just a matter of how much you want to tell us. But I know you're our Jags insider.
I don't know about all that, but yeah.
There was a question earlier in the week about Trevor Lawrence, and I said, I don't want to say he's a big deal or anything, but they included him in the players' ad to come out and see the players. Just Trevor watching the players makes it a big event.
He can't walk through TPC Sawgrass by himself. He can't. Like, he can't make it to where he's going because people are stopping him for pictures and things and autographs. So he's got to have security detail with him. I don't know if he does. I haven't seen him out there. I haven't been out there in a couple of years, but it's that. It's real. He can't do anything because he kind of stands out in a crowd, you know.
Just a bit.
It's hard to hide. He loves it. He played the Pro-Am last week at Arnold Palmer.
Saw that.
With, gosh, who did he play with?
Was he with Morikawa?
Morikawa, yeah. I think they're all Adidas guys. So that probably
okay.
Because Vince Carter was there too.
Yeah, Vince Carter.
Yeah. Great player.
Orlando sports legend right there.
Here we go.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, only on the Florida Sports Network. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
22 minutes before the hour. Seth Everett will join us at the top of the hour. Shelby Mast, who's in, who's out, who is firmly on the bubble. Can you be firmly on a bubble? We'll ask Shelby that question 1 hour from now. We have different questions for JP Shadrick. He joins us. He's in New York at a conference. We're not going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the Jags and free agency. And he's calling the Players' Championship for the international feed. You know, JP, that so-called fifth major, you're going to hype it up? Are you going to use that in your first hour Thursday on the air?
Probably in the open, Dave. I mean, we do our own like big scene set open. I think you just wrote it for me. Thanks. I appreciate that. I will not be sending royalties your way, though, unfortunately. You cannot be firmly on a bubble. It doesn't make any sense.
Thank you. Jumbo Shrimp.
It doesn't make any sense either.
Another big Jacksonville moment right there. All right, JP, we'll start with the players since David went there.
Yeah.
The way Scotty Scheffler's playing right now, hitting the ball, it's scary how good if he can putt, it's his tournament. But obviously the putter doesn't always stay with Mr. Scheffler.
Well, it did last week, and a tough place to putt down at Bay Hill. It settled up for him certainly on Sunday, and that was quite a show he put on. Just kind of blew everybody away and blew that course away. It's a tough place to play, and it shows you how much different he is than some of the other guys that are in the top 10 in the world who just barely made the cut or struggled on the weekend or whatever it was. He was so far out in front of everybody and just kind of pulled away as it went along. Now, Gary Smith in the Florida Times-Union in Jacksonville the other day had a really good story about the course conditions at Sawgrass coming up and how the weather's been. And it's been wet, and it's been cold, and it's not going to be as so-called crispy as it was down in Bay Hill the first couple of days where balls are just sliding off the green and all that stuff. This should be, if you can keep it in the fairway and your approach game is good, Scheffler's is, you'll be able to attack some pins here. And it feels like it's not going to run out like it usually does at Sawgrass. So, he's in a really good spot again to make a big jump. Not a jump, he's number one in everything, but to really compete. And I think he's got to be the favorite to win this thing. Easy.
And he's won here before. By the way, the forecast is sunny in the 80s. So the big all week. So the big question is going to be the win. JP, this is a strange tournament. Guys have, like Phil even. Phil won here. And then he had a bunch of missed cuts, a bunch of T35s, but he also has a win. I mean, it's a strange course depending on the wind. All right, some guys that week, that year, they can play it, and then they can be awful for 10 straight years at this course.
It really is. And all of a sudden you're off a little bit on your game and you hit it off the fairway, and it's hard. I mean, it's tough to play out there. And it challenges every part of your game. The way these holes are set up, I mean, accuracy is rewarded, but then if you drift off the next hole, you're in the water. I mean, it is like, and it can be really tough. And you're right about the winds because it's right off the beach. It's right across A1A. So the wind can go and it can change directions as the day goes along. I mean, there's all that can happen as well. So a morning round can be much different than an afternoon round in the first couple of days. And so, yeah, it's a tough place. And that's why the fifth major is at Sawgrass, because they built it to be that. And it's been it's proven over time. That's why nobody's ever repeated as a champion, by the way. Think about that. In the 50 years of the Players, nobody's ever won it back-to-back. Jack Nicklaus won it 3 of the first 5 times, right? One of those was in Jacksonville. The last one was at the old Sawgrass Country Club across A1A. But even since then, nobody's won back-to-back years. So Scheffler has a chance to do something that nobody's ever done at Sawgrass.
And he is the odds-on favorite in going away with it, really. Next best odds are Rory at 13-1. Scheffler right now, plus 525 to win it.
And speaking of the putter not working, I mean, Rory just couldn't pull a rabbit out of any hat last week. Nothing.
JP, the putter hasn't worked this decade for Rory. No, seriously. I mean, come on. Next month's, the whole Masters thing, but 2014 is his last major. I mean, how many times have we seen a guy who basically has been top 5 in the world for 10 years and not won a major the entire time?
Pretty remarkable, right? Yeah. And he's not getting any younger either, by the way. Still in good shape, obviously. Better shape than I am. But who isn't? But he's, yeah, that whole dynamic is interesting to see. Can he get back over that hump again? And we'll see. I think at some point he will, because he's a good enough player to do that. But right now it's just not going for him.
Who's maybe a page 2 guy that you're looking at this week to have a big week? Somebody that you've been paying attention, you've been studying this, that's playing, that's hot, that you think could find the right 4 days at Sawgrass.
Yeah, that's a good one. Finau, right? Tony Finau. It could be it's got to be his time, right?
Talk about a guy who can't putt though when it
know.
matters.
I know, but he's right there on the edge. He's got everything else going for him. And maybe on a week like this, when it's not as tricky of a putting surface, okay, maybe you make a few putts and you're in this thing on the weekend. So it'd be cool to see him break through for one of these. Let's put it that way. I think there are a lot of people that follow him and like his story and his game. And yeah, give me Finau.
There's a lot of Fowler to Finau, though, right? Because Ricky only won a handful of times. Finau's only won, 3, 4 times? And yet he's, you look at him and you think top 10 player or top 15 player. And yet, Ricky only contended really in a handful of majors. Finau's only sniffed, you could argue, 2 majors. I mean, there's a lot of Ricky Fowler in Finau.
Yeah, and same idea, right? I mean, Fowler just kind of has gone off a little bit of the edge a little bit, and whatever that is, I think Finau still got a little something in him, though. I really do. Let's see if he can turn something this week and maybe make some moves and get back on track. I still think it's in there for him somewhere.
He's JP Shadrick. You can follow JP on Twix, Twitter/X at JP Shadrick, SHADRICK. Westwood One, Jags Radio Network, and also does PJ Tour Golf for PJ Tour Productions and doing the international feed for the players beginning tomorrow.
All right, let's switch towards the Jags, JP. Which signing has you most excited? The Jags have been busy. A lot of new additions, trades, re-signing players, a couple of free agents. What's the signing that you went, oh, all right, I like that?
Oh, Mitch Morse, the center from Buffalo. I don't think there's any doubt that was a priority for the Jaguars this offseason, is to maybe not necessarily get stronger, but maybe a little more experience there, right? And yeah, stronger helps. So there's a little bit of that, and we'll see what that means for Luke Fortner, the center who was drafted here a couple of years ago. Is he now moving as the inside swing guy? Like, what's his deal? Because Cam Robinson's going to be back, left tackle. You're going to have Mitch Morse at center. Brandon Sheriff just got extended at right guard to save some cap money. And you got the rookie right tackle. And Ezra Cleveland, they just re-signed as well. So they had traded for him last fall to play left guard. So that's their offensive line. I mean, they've got it set up now. It's just a matter of who's going to be the rotational guys. So for me, that's a big one. Gabe Davis, we'll see if he's got it. He hasn't quite gotten over that hump statistically, but he's had some big plays in his time in Buffalo at wide receiver. I think it's something to watch. What happens with Zay Jones on this thing now, especially if they can pull the Calvin Ridley deal off after 4:00 today. That means Ridley would be back in the fold with Christian Kirk and Gabe Davis. Is Zay the odd man out? They could save some money on the cap, about $4.5 million or so if they were to let Zay walk. So I think that's something to watch the next couple days. What kind of turn that is and what kind of weapons are going to be around Trevor.
So you think the Jags are still trying to hold on to Ridley? Because the word out there is that the Jags and Ridley are kind of in agreement. If Ridley waits till after 4:00, even if he signs with the Patriots, who apparently have a standing offer on the table, then the Jags only have to give up a 3rd-round pick to Atlanta. If the deal were to happen right now, Jacksonville has to give up a 2nd-round pick. So the thought is that the two are in cahoots, if you will. But you're saying you think the Jags are still very much in play for Ridley.
I'm just going off what he said. Calvin said at the end of the year. It's like he loves the quarterback. He loves being around here. His family's in Jacksonville now. Let's just see if the money's right. Well, if he was going to get, and this is just me talking now, not Calvin talking, if he was going to get top of the market free agent money, well, he'd already done it, right? And been gone. If it was only about that. So to me, that's saying it's either not quite the money he thought, or he's looking at some other places and things and realizing, oh, wait a minute, they don't have a quarterback like Trevor Lawrence and an offense that I already know and need to know a little better, but I know. And all this is set up, and the no state tax thing can come into play when you're dealing with millions of dollars. So I'm not saying they're the number one contender. I'm saying they're probably still a contender. Let's put it that way. And I'd be curious to see what happens this afternoon or early tomorrow on this thing, because they met as soon as recently as right before the combine in the office. I mean, Calvin Ridley came in and talked to Trent Baalke for a little while. That's what Baalke said at the combine. So they're very aware of what each other is looking for and wants. But to me, the fact that it hasn't happened yet and it hasn't been reported on yet is done and agreed to terms to somebody, that means it's still in play. And we'll see. I think they're going to have to find a little bit of, wiggle room in the cap to get that done. But until it's done, it's not done.
You lost corner Darius Williams yesterday. He went to the Rams. Defensively, they tagged Josh Allen. I'm assuming they're going to want to do a long-term deal there. But Jacksonville defensively, if they don't add anything more between now and the draft, how do you think they shape up?
Well, yeah, you're right on Josh Allen. I think they're going to continue to work on that deal. They still have until July 15th to get one done. That's the deadline for that. Darius Williams is gone. Actually, statistically had a really good year. But you got to remember, this defense is undergoing some change as well, and the scheme will be different. The new defensive coordinator, Ryan Nielsen, is all about press coverage on the outside. So, and they need some size out there too, right? And let's be honest. I mean, I think he was 5'9", and that's not going to work out when you're pressed close to the line. So, the signing, or at least the deals they've agreed to in early part of legal tampering, is like 5'11" corners that have played a little bit, and okay, that makes sense to me. I think they could probably still use an interior defensive lineman, and they have some money wrapped up in a couple of those guys inside. But if they get another one of those guys young that can come in and really contribute, I think that could be a big deal. Be it, they may not be in free agency because they've spent a whole lot of free agency dollars there already, but I could see that in the draft, certainly. And that's just one need on defense. On the back, the safeties they like. Cisco's there. They'll probably move Antonio Johnson back there, is my guess. And they probably still will go after another corner at some point, because right now they've got the two guys they brought are most likely a nickel and outside guy, and they got Tyson Campbell on the other side, and you need as many corners as you can get.
Well, and as we've talked about, JP, this draft is so heavily offensive players with the quarterbacks, with the tackles, with the wide receivers, where the Jags are. They should be able to get a quality defensive player in the draft.
Yeah, 17th. I mean, you should get the starting caliber. If you go on defense, you should get a starting caliber player there at number 17. So I think they've in the free agency part here, they filled some immediate things. Let's just get some salty vets in here, offensive guys. Okay, kind of settle that part of it, and then you can truly, once you go to the draft, best available, and whoever's there at 17, you go pick them.
Well, you being a proud Alabama guy, I could see one of the two Bama corners being a Jacksonville Jaguar at 17. They both might still be on the board at 17, but one of them certainly will be. JP, safe travels. Thanks for making time for us. Have a great week at the Players and a terrific broadcast. And for your appearance today, Miller and Moulton, give you a nice 8-foot comebacker for par clap. Well done.
Thank you. I appreciate that. A tip of the cap to you.
Thank
guys.
you.
Thank you.
Glad you acknowledged us. Don't pull a Scheffler and just pretend as if you're playing by yourself.
Locked in, man. He's locked in.
Whatever.
The guy's the defending champ. What do you want? There's a reason.
JP Shadrick. Follow him on Twix at JP Shadrick. JP, safe travels.
Have a great day, guys. We'll see you.
JP Shadrick, kind enough to join us. Now he's off to that conference and probably some breakfast food.
Oh, there's definitely a breakfast buffet in his future. Might just be continental. He might just go fruit and a muffin, but there's some sort of toast going on here very quickly.
Yeah, JP, he spends all but 35 cents of the per diem. Yeah, oh no. If it's free, it's for JP. Seth Everett's next.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
Are you ready to make March unforgettable? No, seriously. Get ready to be dazzled as Jason and Todd with the Diamond District invite you to their largest diamond event ever, featuring one of the world's largest diamond cutters, beginning Friday, March 15th, running through Sunday the 17th. Picture this, GIA certified diamonds ranging from 1 carat to a stunning 11 carat diamonds, all at the lowest prices you'll find anywhere. No, seriously, the lowest prices. And that's not all. A. Jaffe, one of America's top bridal designers, will be joining the Diamond District for this extraordinary event. Whether you're searching for that perfect engagement ring to symbolize your love or looking to treat yourself to a timeless piece of fine jewelry, the Diamond District has exactly what you need. With their wide selection of fine jewelry at unbeatable prices, you're sure to find something that will take your breath away. No, seriously. Don't miss out on the biggest diamond event of the year, Friday the 15th through Sunday the 17th.
At the Diamond District.
Mark Miller for Molly Maid. Why Molly Maid, you ask? Trust. Moulton was a customer for 15 years. Affordability. Didn't I just say Moulton was a customer for 15 years? Worry-free services. Our professional house cleaners are fully insured and a 24-hour warranty. Call Molly Maids today at 239-774-5839. That's 239-774-5839 or online at mollymaid.com/FTMYERS. That's mollymaid.com/FTMYERS.
Hello, friends and family of Southwest Florida. Are you looking to tap into the electric vehicle market? Well, look no further because we here at Southwest Florida Golf Carts have just what you need. E-bikes, golf carts, LSVs, scooters, and more. Come down and talk with one of our experienced sales reps, have a soda and a smile, and you could be cruising the streets in your new EV today. Stop by the store or visit our website at flgolfcarts.com and enter for a chance to win $100 off your next purchase by answering John's monthly sports question.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung specializes in criminal defense, DUI, personal injury, nursing home claims, and auto accidents. I'm a former prosecutor with over 34 years of experience. The information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, time is of the essence to maintain your driving privileges. Call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung for a free consultation. At the law firm of Michael F. Hornung, we are committed to excellence in your representation. Being a local attorney with local knowledge is clutch to the success of your case. For over 30 years, we have successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Our offices are conveniently located in Fort Myers. Visit online at mfh-law.com.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Yo.
Hi, Seth.
What's up?
Same stuff, different Wednesday.
Yeah, today's a weird Wednesday for me.
So you got out of jury duty.
That is shocking and great. There's a chance I have to go tomorrow, but that's okay. I'll cross that bridge.
So you tried Oppenheimer twice, huh?
Oh my God. I mean, it's not a bad movie, don't get me wrong, but
I'm going to try it here because it's like 3 hours, right?
It's 3 hours and it's so slow. And the build up. The funniest was I was at a diner with my daughter and we were talking about how I fell asleep during it. And a guy at the table next to me says, "Please don't spoil it." Oppenheimer?
What's next? You're talking about The Last Temptation of Christ and say, don't spoil that for me too?
Spoil it? He builds a bomb. I was like, dude, the boat sinks in Titanic.
Right.
American Fiction is such a better movie. Like head over heels. American Fiction is probably the funniest, smartest film that I've seen in the last like 3 years of like these awards type movies. And Oppenheimer doesn't even hold a candle to it. And Oppenheimer's not terrible. It's just
Now
slow
our old producer loved it. Felipe thought it was tremendous. And he's, 24-year-old kid.
Oppenheimer?
Loved it.
I mean, it's very cinematic. It's very gorgeous. I mean, watching it on my computer half the time, I didn't get into it. American Fiction, I saw twice. I saw it and then my wife saw it, and I watched it both times. It's great. Jeffrey Wright should have won everything. Love movies that can literally mock stuff that is like hot button triggering crap. I just make fun of it and make fun of it really sharply. Oppenheimer.
You fell asleep both times, right?
Both times. And then the third time I watched it, and then I had 20 minutes left, and I was like, nope, I got to stop this. I'm going to fall asleep. And then I went to sleep, and then I woke up the next morning, and I watched the last 20 minutes while doing iHeart.
I'm Sarah Bartlett. Sorry, that's all. Whenever you say iHeart, that's when she does the Florida Sports. You know her? Yep. I'm Sarah Bartlett.
Yep. I've done those.
I've got one day I was doing my walk and I got you, Seth. I was like, hey!
Yep. Sometimes you don't write those, so I can't always take responsibility for what it's in it.
Oh, I just
seriously?
Yeah, sometimes they have people that write it and then they send you the copy. Other times you have to write it yourself.
Wow.
My Boston stuff, New York stuff, I write. So I'm quick. We had a funny iHeart situation. A Bloomberg station in New York said, "Could you make sure the Knicks are in every update?" The updates are 25 seconds, and he looked at the calendar the wrong month. They weren't playing.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Third and final hour on a hump day, at least along the network, and that means Seth Everett. He of Sports with Friends and Hall of Justice. Follow him on Twix at Seth_Everett, Seth_Everett. Seth, how you doing this week?
How am I doing? I'm doing great.
Well,
I'm doing great.
I must admit, you look different for those that take in our show, twitch.tv/Miller and Moulton. And maybe it's just because I know it's in my head now that you are one of us. The first digit is a 5. But because now you are 50, I'm like, wow, Seth's getting gray. All right. Never, ever before. Same camera angle, lighting, and everything for all these years. I've never looked at you and went, now that I know you're 50, I'm like, I'll be damned, Seth's getting gray.
The funny thing is I started turning gray when I was like 28. And at 29, I met my wife, and she just said, "You're too young to be gray." And for like 10 years, I colored my hair. And then when I was getting close to 40, I said, "This is stupid." I said, I'm not a vain person. It's dumb. And I stopped. And then all of a sudden I'm gray.
And expensive to color your
hair.
hair.
Coloring your hair? Yeah. Because I was too chicken to do like one of those things where you put the gloves on and do it.
No, you got to do it right.
Yeah, you got to do it right. Agreed.
So what'd you do? I mean, because I'm like almost all white now.
Yeah.
And I would like to, all right. And yes, almost. Okay. The top.
I didn't say that out loud. I just lipped it.
I know. Yes. No. There's actually parts of me that's still pepper, Okay, there's actually a pretty decent, middle of my hair is pepper, but you can't see it. Everything that you basically see is white, and there's a part of me that's like, I would like the Grecian formula. Is that still around?
No, because then it's just obvious that you're coloring your hair. You have to go spend the money, go to a salon, and do it right.
What do you mean? According to the ads, okay, you put the Grecian formula in, and slowly over time,
Were you a
comes
client of this
back.
for 15 years too?
Just swish. Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. Fair enough. But
Did you guys see the big Champions League game yesterday between Arsenal and Porto?
No, we don't care.
Oh my God! It went into extra time and then it went into a shootout. I was riveted.
Well, your hockey team sucks now, so now we know what you're doing in the middle of the day. Yeah,
that they do. But that Ranger punk got suspended for 4 games,
and he deserved it. It was a cheap hit.
That's his second one.
It was dirty. I
He's
know.
knocked out
dirty.
2 of our guys.
I know. He deserves to be suspended. And the next time they play the Devils should beat his blank. Absolutely.
Well, they tried. They tried. He was chicken. He was afraid. He only likes dirty plays. He's a weasel. No, sorry. Zabinajad's the weasel. This guy's just a punk.
He's 6'5", 240-pound punk. So I mean,
I have zero respect for that dude. He's like all the bad things that Tom Wilson is, but without the talent.
I can't disagree. It was a dirty play. Got to stop that. No place for that in the league. I'm with you.
That's right.
But by the way, after the show, Seth and Trent are going to commiserate because one guy's hockey team's already gone in the tank and their season's over, and the other guy's hockey team is going in the tank right now, and their season's a couple of weeks away from being over. So Seth and Trent are going to do Our Hockey Team Sucks podcast. That'll be coming up at about 10:15 this morning.
As fun as that might be, the interesting part is they're only 6 out of the playoffs.
Oh, please.
The other teams keep losing.
I will say, David, you and I are a little bit apart on this because last night you had the Rangers in Carolina playing for the division. I'm like, they've got 15 games left, for crying out loud. I've watched the Islanders. I watched the Red Wings win 6 in a row, followed by losing 6 in a row. The Islanders won 6 in a row. Now they've lost again. I mean, there's so much that can happen.
So much that can happen. It's far from over. It's annoying because the way they're playing, it should be over. It should be over. But when you're 6 out with 15 to play, you're in it. You're still in. They play at Dallas tomorrow.
That's a loss.
Have you watched a game at the Arizona arena?
Yeah, I went to a Flyers Coyotes game. Yeah, last year I went to
6,000 people,
4,500. It's a cute little minor league hockey arena. It really is for a college arena.
Yeah.
It's not Engelstad, in Grand Forks, North Dakota, that's got 15,000 people or what have you. But I mean, for a hockey program, a really clean, great concourses, good food, 4,500 seat arena. It's for a AA hockey team. It'd be awesome. Problem is, an NHL team's there.
That's right, and it's awkward, and it looks really weird on TV. The Devils play there this weekend. That's a weird.
Well, they've only got they only really have one shot to go to. There are no upstairs shots. There's the cameras don't really, because I watched the first period of the Red Wings and Coyotes the other day, and the Wings got whacked, so I didn't watch much more of that.
Yep.
But they've got nowhere. I mean, the camera guys have nowhere to go when there's no action.
Once in a while, the AHL makes a night free, like on their app. And I'll get an email in the AHL. They'll say all 13 games tonight. You can stream them for free, and I'll put it on. I'll check it out just to see the buildings or whatever it is. I'll watch 10 minutes of it. But when I do, I see these tiny arenas, and I love the atmosphere. It's very infectious. To play an NHL team there is embarrassing, and that has to get rectified soon.
Yeah,
and then the story this week about Atlanta trying to get a team. Are you joking? They lost 2.
Well, the first one wasn't their fault. The second one was.
Okay.
I worked in hockey in Atlanta. It's actually something I know a little bit about. When the Flames left, it's because the owners went broke, and that's where they sold the team. The Thrashers, there's no excuse for that.
I can't imagine going back there.
They won't.
Well, Seth, this is we know why Bettman has pushed for Phoenix, because he saw the growth of Phoenix, and now Phoenix is either the 6th or 8th largest market in the country. So obviously, if you're a commissioner of a major sport, you'd want a team in a market that size. Well, look at the size of Atlanta. Houston's got their hand in the air, and Salt Lake City, which has hosted an Olympics, so they certainly, in theory, could have a Major League Baseball team or an NHL team, right? And they got their hand in the air.
But then, I did a podcast this week with Everett Fitzhugh. He's the radio play-by-play guy of the Kraken. And they have not really caught on. And just this idea that, we love hockey and I watch every night and I'm a huge fan, but there are markets that you would think are natural hockey markets. And Seattle is one of them. And it's not clicking.
And Seth, you live there, so you're better at this than I am, because I never think of Seattle as a hockey market. I think of Seattle as a basketball market.
Right.
That this hockey team's only been there so they could get a basketball team.
That's right.
And that's all they're waiting for. So I never thought of this as a golden hockey market.
But when they had their success last year, which they did, you would think they would have built momentum. For a second-year franchise to suddenly be good, you would think that's infectious. Look at Vegas. Look at the Colorado Avalanche. Now, that's not an expansion team, but they came in, won the championship, and now they have this massive fan base. So you see how it can grow, and it's just weird. So we talk about all these cities that have all these people, Atlanta and Houston. You're not wrong. None of what you're saying is wrong. But I just wonder, is hockey going to work? It works in Nashville, and no one thought it would. It's weird. It's not an automatic that you have a lot of people, so they're going to go to these games.
This may be a very stupid point I'm about to make, but hell, it's one of 40 today.
Oh, you started the show with a Grecian formula.
Right. So, yeah, exactly. So, it's obviously heading downhill. So I was in Seattle about 2 weeks before the Kraken were going to play their first game. And the local paper, which hadn't gone online only yet, had a 4-page in their sports section teaching you about hockey, the rules of hockey. I'm being drop dead serious when I say this. If the local paper feels they have to print a 4-page insert telling you and teaching you about hockey, I'm not sure that's the place for your NHL franchise.
No, but I think it's a creative way to try to introduce people who weren't fans. And I think that's harmless. I think the biggest thing, you made the point before, they are only got that team there so that they could build the arena and so they could get a basketball team. And they want one specific basketball team. They want the Supersonics and they want the Records. Because remember, that part of their move, the Thunder took all the championship trophy and all the retired numbers. The city of Seattle just wants to retire Gary Payton and Sean Kemp's number. That's all they want to do. And the reality is, if the NBA is going to go there, that's going to be harder for the entertainment dollar. And I remember an interview I did with the owner of the Sonics back in the 90s. They purposely built Key Arena too small for NHL hockey because Barry Ackerley thought that would be competing for the entertainment dollar. And he had a point. So the interesting part about it, because you look at Arizona and they're fighting for an arena. There's no price that the Suns will allow the Coyotes to play in their arena.
No, the Suns want nothing to do with the Coyotes. They're not helping them at all.
Again, this is the Giants and the A's situation. Everyone has a price. Everyone has a price. Do you think the New York Giants wanted the New York Jets at the old Giant Stadium?
Yeah, but the new owner of the Suns paid $4 billion for the franchise. There is no price. He's got more than enough money. There's nothing the NHL or the Coyotes could pay him that would move him.
Fine. Why does it hurt the Suns having the Coyotes there?
I don't know, but they've never wanted, right, Mark? They've never wanted anything to do with the franchise.
I know. It's telling that this was the best option. Like, this was your best plan? It's amazing.
All right. Well, we covered a lot of ground today. We did. Sports with Friends Hall of Justice. Go.
Everett Fitzhugh, the play-by-play. He's the first and only African-American play-by-play voice in the NHL. Everett Fitzhugh. It's a really cool story how he got the gig. It's a lot about the reaction to his hiring. It's an interesting podcast. He's a very interesting dude, and I was thrilled to have him on. Hall of Justice is a gentleman by the name of Mike Carlin, who in the 90s was the editor of Superman. He's the guy who orchestrated the death of Superman. And then he went to Warner Brothers Animation and worked for 10 years and worked on maybe 15 to 20 animated films. And we go film by film. It's a really fun podcast. It's the part 1 of 2.
Seth Everett, Sports with Friends, Hall of Justice. Follow him on Twix at Seth_Everett. Seth, good luck with the hair, and we'll see you next week.
And no jury duty. Woohoo!
Miller and Moulton. Shelby Mast, bracketology in 25 minutes.
Hello, friends and family of Southwest Florida. Are you looking to tap into the electric vehicle market?
I know.
Well, look no further, because we here at Southwest Florida Golf Carts have just what you need.
7 o'clock today.
E-bikes, golf carts,
ESPN
LSVs,
too.
scooters, and more.
NC State.
Come down and talk
Go
with one
get
of our
'em.
experienced sales reps, have a soda and a smile, and you could be cruising the streets
luck.
in your new EV today.
guys.
Stop by the store or visit our website at flgolfcarts.com and enter for a chance to win $100 off your next purchase by answering John's monthly sports question.
Mark Miller for Molly Maid. Why Molly Maid, you ask? Trust. Moulton was a customer for 15 years. Affordability. Didn't I just say Moulton was a customer for 15 years? Worry-free services. Our professional house cleaners are fully insured and a 24-hour warranty. Call Molly Maids today at 239-774-5839. That's 239-774-5839 or online at mollymaid.com/FTMYERS. That's mollymaid.com/FTMYERS.
The waterways of Naples are a beauty to behold, and the Bayfront Inn has multiple ways for guests to enjoy the water and have some fun. Gather your family and friends and enjoy a leisurely day on the water with a pontoon or deck boat. If you prefer to explore the waterways without a motor, the Bayfront has canoes, standboards, and kayaks. At the end of your journey, enjoy lunch or dinner at the Bamboo Tropical Bar and Grill. The Bayfront Inn. Something for everyone. On 5th Avenue in Naples.
Located on the East Trail, locally owned Naples Tiki Bar and Grill is an outdoor eatery next to the Hitching Post Shopping Center. Island-inspired food with a true tiki theme. The best place in Naples to enjoy the beautiful weather in Southwest Florida. The Naples Tiki Bar and Grill offers a great menu for dine-in or takeout. Enjoy our famous pulled pork, huge burgers, and tiki bar cocktails. Don't miss happy hour every day from 3 to 6 and live music 7 days a week. See you soon at the Naples Tiki Bar and Grill, 11498 Tamiami Trail East.
You were listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network. Sonny, no, they're not. They are the third betting favorite. San Francisco right now is your favorite to win the Super Bowl at plus 525, then the Chiefs at plus 600, and then the Ravens.
Does that make any sense to you, by the way, that the Niners are favored?
Yes.
Because I mean, I don't know. They haven't won it with this group.
I understand that, but they're the most likely team to get back there.
Yeah, and I know that no team's ever won 3 in a row, so that's probably
well. It's just the NFC factor.
No, that's true. Yeah, you're right.
Because the next 3 choices are all AFC teams. Now,
yeah, I guess you're right there.
Now the Lions are next, 12-1. Cincinnati 14-1. Dallas, Philadelphia 16-1. No problem. Really trying to get out of the habit. It's been hard, and I'm better at it, of never saying you're welcome again. Makes no sense. Thank you. You're welcome. You're welcome to what? Come into my house?
You know what?
Open the door?
I've always wondered that too,
my daughter's the one that did it. She goes, Daddy, that makes no sense. Did this 2 years ago. So we don't say it anymore.
You say no problem?
No problem. My pleasure.
Yeah. All right.
One of those two. It depends on the circumstances.
You got it.
Thank you. It's better than you're welcome.
Yeah. David, ever since you put the Patino bowl or whatever you want to call it into my head, that's all I just really am hoping for that.
Well, New Mexico, it depends on where you look.
Yeah.
They're either last team or two in, first team or two out.
Well, and St. John's isn't exactly in great shape either.
No.
Like they're both really in the same.
Well, the problem for New Mexico is they're done though. Right?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, and because has the Mountain West happened?
It started.
Oh, okay.
Well, hang on. Let me look. I actually don't think it has. Actually, yeah, San Jose State played, didn't they?
Let me hear. Yeah, New Mexico's playing Air Force tonight.
Okay.
First round of the Mountain West.
And I was wrong. Shelby has James Madison as a 12. I must have misread that yesterday, for the record. He's got Drake as a 10. James Madison as a 12.
Where's he have Charleston?
14.
Okay.
Tell you what, he's got Creighton as a 3, too. Creighton wouldn't want to see Charleston in the first round.
No.
Like Kansas, that's fine. They'll take care of them. They're too big.
Although they got injuries, it'll be interesting to see. You know, they're missing 2 starters for the Big 12 tournament. Don't know if the one kid's going to be back for the NCAA tournament early.
Well, no, Ed, I'm saying no, thank you. No problem. You asked me to, you're thanking me. There's not a problem for me to do that for you.
Other times you were a problem. That's funny. Indiana State's bubblicious, baby. We'll ask Shelby.
I have a bad feeling about it. I hope I'm wrong.
He has him firmly in. Well, I mean, he's got him on an 11 line.
In the play-in 11 or no?
No.
Just straight up 11.
The play-in 11's New Mexico, Virginia, and St. John's A&M on the 12 line. So he's, but he's, if he's got these ranked in order, he's got Michigan State and Nova behind Indiana State.
Yeah. Which is, I think that's fair.
You got anything here? Because I got a couple things.
Just that I don't ever want to say you're welcome again, but other than that.
Here we go.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, only on the Florida Sports Network. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
21 minutes past the hour. Shelby Mast, who's been kind enough to be our resident bracketologist for many years now. Shelby will get up because he stays up, watches all the games late, posts his bracketology up to the moment, and then goes to bed. And so we'll wake Shelby up in about 15 minutes. So Trent, look forward to that. He should be in a great mood when you call. We'll wake Shelby up for bracketology coming up in about 15 minutes time. So our question of the day, poll question. Nick Saban testified before Congress yesterday with Ted Cruz sitting right next to him saying, NIL has ruined college football. Well, we're asking you. You agree with Nick, or do you think, lighten up, Francis?
55-45 to the yes right now is what the poll says, David.
All right. That's the lowest. That's the closest lighten up Francis has been all morning. It's been in the low to mid 60s most of the morning.
And I'm fine with the question. You could have rephrased the question to Nick Saban. NIL has ruined college football. What's ruined it for you? NIL, the transfer portal, it's not ruined. Because I think a lot of the people that are voting no don't like what's going on in college football, but have a bigger problem with the portal than they do with NIL.
That's where I'm at, to be honest.
Right. Once again, it's, what's causing the problem? The athletes. Right. It's the athletes transferring and getting paid. It's not the powers that be that control the sport. It's the players. Let's just keep blaming the workforce. They're the problem.
The argument
Not
against
the
the portal, David,
system.
is there's no penalty to transferring anymore. So people just can. I'm all for if you want to leave, go for it. But you can't. The fact that players don't have to sit out anymore for a year. Why wouldn't they leave?
I have no problem with it because I've worked in an industry where I can't get up and walk across the street for more money because I had a non-compete. So I would love to revisit this conversation with you, Trent, providing the sports radio business stays alive for 15 years, in 15 years, and see what you say about it.
That's fair. That's very fair.
Quickly, do you think if the head coach leaves, the kid should be allowed to transfer, no questions asked?
Yes.
Okay. So do you think every player should get one transfer? Anything after that, they have to be penalized? Or are you against the original transfer?
I just like how it used to be. I like where you had to redshirt, you had to sit. Now there were exceptions, medical, all that stuff. But if you
maybe the good old days when you didn't want to give if the school didn't want to give the kid a scholarship next year, you didn't have to. But damn if you transfer.
But I think a good compromise is what David just said. If the coach leaves, you can get out of there.
Well, we've wanted that forever. We've been saying this for at least 10 years, if not longer. All right. That if the head coach leaves, we think every kid on the roster should be able to get up and leave. Because the whole you commit to a school, not the coach, is absolute garbage. You commit to coaches. That's why there are some that believe actually that if coordinators leave, kids, we don't want to go that far. We'll just leave it with the head coach.
But the transferring, I don't know how you can make him sit out. I have no problem with the transferring. The transferring I see it being unseemly, but they need someone in charge of their sport. There's no one in charge of the sport.
Right. And that's never going to happen. We've talked about that at length. There will never be a single commissioner. There's no way Greg Sankey and Tony Petitti are going to listen to someone. Here's the only thing. If you were to get a commissioner of the sport, Mark, you think about it. There are 4 factors at work here. Fox, ESPN, Greg Sankey, Tony Petitti. The person who would be the, quote, commissioner would literally only be a mouthpiece. Period. They would just be told what to say and do. They would be given the title. They parade around the country. They do guest spots on shows like ours. They literally would have nothing to do with the running of the sport.
Isn't it Bill Hancock that runs the college football playoff committee? It would be him.
Yes. And it would anybody feel better? And we love Tim Brando. He's wanted a commissioner forever. But if Bill Hancock was the commissioner of college football, do we honestly think anything would change? Or do we think he'd sit in the room and look at Fox and ESPN and say, so what do you want me to say?
I think there's a better chance of someone in charge, believe it or not, if they broke away from the NCAA. While they're under the NCAA's guidance, David, I think there's no chance of a single entity or 2 entities running the sport.
Well, it's interesting you say that because one of the quotes that has come out in the last week with this whole college football playoff negotiation is somebody who's connected to either the Big 12 or the ACC gave an anonymous quote in which they said, so if we say no, will they really break away? Because obviously there's a lot of, Big 10 and the SEC behind the scenes are really leaning to get all that they can get from the rest of the sport. And there's finally, it's one thing for Miller and Moulton to say this out loud for the last few years, but it's nice that somebody in the room is finally going, come on, are they really going to leave? Seriously? Because if they play each other, that's the NFL. That's a lot of losses. Just, ask the Ohio State boosters how much money they're going to give if they go 8-4 and 9-3 in back-to-back years. I'm just telling you. Now, how's that going to work out?
Where it's truly a level playing field with
all
48 teams that have left to go into the Super League.
Chiefs just went, 11-6 and won the Super Bowl? Okay, yeah, right. Ask a Georgia fan how 11-6 sounds right now. Oh, well. So that's our poll question. At Mark Miller, the David Moulton. Okay, at Miller_Moulton. Hell, I even think it's on a website or two. There you go. Vote accordingly. Hey, one thing I wanted to throw out there, and do you know there's a guy in the NBA with a streak going? It's a recent streak. It's like a week old.
Right, the center for
Dallas
hasn't missed a shot.
In his last 4 games.
Right.
He's 28 for 28. 7 for 7, 5 for 5, 7 for 7, 9 for 9. One of those games was against the Heat. I think they're like 2-2 in the 4 games. He was asked about it after he went 9 for 9 and he got to 28 for 28. And he said, well, I keep running the pick and roll with Luka, and let's just say they're high percentage shots. But still, it's 28 for 28, man.
No, that's really good.
Apparently, Wilt went 35 for 35 at one stretch. That's the record. He's got to go, and I don't know if the Mavs are playing tonight or tomorrow. But
so he's got to get 8 more consecutive buckets for the record.
Right.
The Mavericks host the Warriors tonight at 8:30.
There you go. Now he's aware of it. Free throws don't count, but I'm just saying now he's aware of it. He's fully aware. He's been interviewed about it. He's talked about it, the whole deal. He knows he's 28 for 28.
He's going to keep getting open looks.
Luka's going to keep running. Luka's had like 5 straight triple doubles where he scored 30 or more points in his triple doubles. I mean, he's going to get high percentage looks here. But still, Mark, he's 28 for 28.
Someone put a hand on that guy.
I mean, you know.
Well, yeah, even if you want to make the case that like most of them are dunks and standing layups, it's like just to not miss one in that whole stretch, to not miss a contested baby hook. I mean, that's remarkable.
Right. So that's all. 28 for 28. I'm like, huh. And it's 4 games, too. Now, granted, he hasn't attempted a 3 or anything like that. He's the 6'10 center, 4th-year guy. After he went 7 for 7 the first game, they put him in the starting lineup. And since put in the starting lineup, he's 21 for 21. So obviously he's going to start tonight, right?
It's a way to earn a spot right there. Coach, if I miss, do I still get to start?
So anyway, just thought it was worth mentioning tonight. Miller and Moulton. Shelby Mast. Who's in? Who's out? Who can't afford to lose? Who still has work to do? Boy, it's a lot of questions for Shelby. It's all next.
Hello, friends and family of Southwest Florida. Are you looking to tap into the electric vehicle market? Well, look no further, because we here at Southwest Florida Golf Carts have just what you need. E-bikes, golf carts, LSVs, scooters, and more. Come down and talk with one of our experienced sales reps, have a soda and a smile, and you could be cruising the streets in your new EV today. Stop by the store or visit our website at flgolfcarts.com and enter for a chance to win $100 off your next purchase by answering John's monthly sports question.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
Are you ready to make March unforgettable? No, seriously. Get ready to be dazzled as Jason and Todd with the Diamond District invite you to their largest diamond event ever, featuring one of the world's largest diamond cutters, beginning Friday, March 15th, running through Sunday the 17th. Picture this, GIA certified diamonds ranging from 1 carat to a stunning 11 carat diamonds, all at the lowest prices you'll find anywhere. No, seriously, the lowest prices. And that's not all. A. Jaffe, one of America's top bridal designers, will be joining the Diamond District for this extraordinary event. Whether you're searching for that perfect engagement ring to symbolize your love or looking to treat yourself to a timeless piece of fine jewelry, the Diamond District has exactly what you need. With their wide selection of fine jewelry at unbeatable prices, you're sure to find something that will take your breath away. No, seriously. Don't miss out on the biggest diamond event of the year, Friday the 15th through Sunday the 17th.
At the Diamond District.
Mark Miller for Molly Maid. Why Molly Maid, you ask? Trust. Moulton was a customer for 15 years. Affordability. Didn't I just say Moulton was a customer for 15 years? Worry-free services. Our professional house cleaners are fully insured and a 24-hour warranty. Call Molly Maids today at 239-774-5839. That's 239-774-5839 or online at mollymaid.com/FTMYERS. That's mollymaid.com/FTMYERS. You were listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Well, exactly, Sonny. Remember, Moses had to miss to get his offensive rebound. So my buddy, the lawyer, he and his wife, big Devils fans, and they're probably not as big a Springsteen fan as I am, but being from Jersey and all, so they're headed to the Phoenix area this weekend.
Mhm.
He's seeing the Devils against the Coyotes on Saturday, and then Bruce's first show back. Remember, he was sick, canceled his tour, and he's rescheduled a bunch of dates. His first show back's Tuesday, and it's out there. And he's got
How
tickets.
about that for timing? That's awesome.
How about exactly? It's awesome, especially since you have no idea if you're ever going to see Springsteen again.
Right?
So he is Indiana State, Michigan State, both 11s. He's got New Mexico in 11. He's got A&M in. A lot of people have them first out.
I said, "Good morning. How you doing?" He goes, "I'm awake." All right, here we go.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, only on the Florida Sports Network.
22 minutes before the hour, our final segment along the network, the Diamond District bonus hour, awaits for our loyal audience in the 239. He literally gets up to do this segment. That's what a pro he is. That's also how much he cares about the brackets. He is Shelby Mast, bracketwag.com. BracketWag, WAG.com. He's also the bracketologist for collegeinsider.com. Follow Shelby on Twix at BracketWag, WAG. Shelby, it's David and Mark. We're very appreciative of this. Good morning. How are you?
I'm a little tired, but I'll make it.
These next 5 days, this is money time. We get it. All right. There are so many questions. Who's in, who's out, who can't afford to lose, how many wins certain teams needs to get in. Let's just start with FAU. They're a 10 seed for you. We're assuming then if they make it to the conference final, you think they're in. What if they get beat in the semis in a 2-3 matchup? Will they make it?
It's going to be a nervous selection Sundays because I don't know if their resume, they've got that nice win over Arizona that carries a lot of weight, but that's about it. They're a good team, but the committee doesn't seem to use the eye test anymore. So they go by metrics and everything that's on paper. So I don't know if they get to the semis, that's going to be a toss-up.
With those metrics, is Indiana State still in after losing to Drake in the conference final of the Missouri Valley?
I've got them in. I think they would be in, but they need help. They need to hope that no bubble teams go on a run or have a big week. Wins by bubble teams, that's going to scoot them down.
Okay, well, and in a way, Shelby, with your bracket, because you don't have South Florida winning the AAC. You have FAU winning the AAC. So in theory, if the Bulls, who are the 1 seed in the American, win the conference tournament, and let's just say they beat FAU in the final, then that becomes a 2-bid league in your estimation. So South Florida in your bracket is a bracket buster, aren't they?
Yes, they are in mine. A lot of people don't see it that way, but I do. I don't think South Florida will get in as an at-large. I don't think the resume is strong enough.
Out of your last 4 in, who was the St. John's, A&M, New Mexico, and Virginia? Is A&M your last team in the tournament right now, Shelby?
Yes, they are.
Does a one loss put them out in the SEC tournament, or do they need to win a game to still maintain their spot?
I think they need to win 1, maybe 2 to stay in. They've got a very middling resume, and it just depends on what the committee is looking for.
So to you right now, New Mexico, Virginia, St. John's, A&M, the last 4 in, to you it'd be pretty obvious. They lose their first conference tournament game, they'd be out, wouldn't they?
I think so.
Colorado, Iowa, Providence, Utah, by the way, the next 4, and think about it. All right, you got Colorado in the Big 12 tournament. You got Iowa in the Big 10 tournament. How many wins do you think for Iowa? Because I think they need at least 2.
That's why I agree with that. 2 wins, and that should get them in because it'd be Ohio State, which is no big deal, but then Illinois, that'd be a nice win.
Does Michigan State have to beat Minnesota to get into the tournament?
I think so. I mean, their metrics are nice and all, but God, they keep losing.
Do they ever?
You know, a couple of ACC teams to me are interesting, and the ACC is interesting. All right, Pitt and Wake Forest. A, how many ACC teams do you have in right now? And B, how much of a run does either one need?
I've got 4 teams in right now, and I'm not 100% sold on that. Pitt and Wake, I think if they got to the finals, they'd be in, but that's just a guess.
And when the Mountain West, you still have with 6 teams in, Shelby?
Yes, I do.
Boy, that conference. It's amazing that the Mountain West could end up with more than the ACC this year, but that seems likely.
So,
yeah.
Shelby, what do you say to the ACC folks, including the coaches, who are, I think, a little angry with people like you and the metric system, if you will? I mean, they're like, listen, our conference is better than this. We just won the ACC Challenge 9-3. What the heck? Why are we in the last couple years? Also, look at our recent tournament success. We've been killing it in the tournament. Why does none of this count?
Well, past years don't count for this year's tournament. I mean, it's a nice to have on the wall, but it matters not. What matters is for this year, and the league is just not that deep. Miami had a bad year. The several teams just kind of were meh, and they've got to build back the lower end of the conference to where they're not a bad win or a bad loss.
we've pretty much had 3-1s, UConn, Purdue, and Houston. They've been kind of locked seemingly all year, or at least for quite a while. You've got UNC on the one line. What do they have to do in the ACC tournament to maintain that?
I think they probably need to get to the finals and hope Tennessee does not get to the finals.
So if it's a case of one of them wins their conference tournament, the other loses in the finals or semis, you think that could be the difference between who's a 1 and who's a 2?
I think so. The problem is Southeast Conference is played on Sunday, their final, and the bracket's usually done by Saturday night. So unless they have a contingency bracket, then yeah, I think Tennessee, they've got a better shot, I think, at it because they've got tougher competition.
With the bottom end here, the teams like, James Madison getting in, who have you watched this year that you think on that 12-13 line is the most dangerous? And I know you don't predict winners, but who from what you've seen this year out of the 12-13 line is the most dangerous to do damage this year?
I think Grand Canyon and McNeese State, both of them have Power 5 coaches that have been at Power 5 institutions. They've got NBA-type talent, size, quickness at guard. They're going to be tough outs for whoever plays them.
And Grand Canyon's tournament is just getting underway, and I believe McNeese State are they in the semis or the finals of their tournament?
I think it's the finals.
By the way, a couple of winners last night. Oakland, Charleston. You got them on the 14 line. Think any of them are live plays in a week and a half?
It could be every year. There's one or two that pop up, and we really didn't know who they were going to be, and why not them?
All right. You've got Syracuse, Cincinnati, Memphis, and Oregon as still under consideration. So if either of these teams, Syracuse, Cincy, Memphis, Oregon, made it to their conference final, you think then they become bubblicious, right?
I think they'll be in the discussion more than they are today.
Buckeyes, with their nice little run, they've got to win the Big Ten tournament, though, right?
Yeah, I think so. They're pretty much done unless they win it.
Do you think a lot of bids are up for grabs over the next 4 or 5 days, or do you think that there's a lot of this field that's actually wet cement that's drying quickly?
I think there's probably about 10 bids up for grabs. That's what I estimate, and it may be less than that, probably not too much more, but there's a lot of teams that the committee wants to wait and see how they perform.
Shelby Mast, bracketwag.com, WAG, and also the bracketologist for collegeinsider.com. Follow Shelby on Twitter/X at bracketwag, WAG, bracketwag. Shelby, thanks so much. All right, go back, take a nap.
I'm going to. Thank you.
Thank you, Shelby Mast. We weren't kidding. We weren't kidding. He lives in a different time zone. All right, and he's up late at night.
His last update at just before midnight Central Time.
Right. So, say take a half hour to go to sleep and what have you. And right.
For the rock and rollers, it's sleep all day, drink all night. For Shelby, it's sleep all day, watch basketball all night.
That's right. And this is money time, baby. Money time. You know what's going to be keeping them up late? Between the Mountain West and the Pac-12. Especially if you get an early upset or two in the Pac-12. If Oregon or, I'm telling you, watch USC. They
were what, preseason top 15?
They were in some polls top 15 and everybody's top 20. And they were injured from the get-go, and they didn't get it together and get everybody back till 2 weeks ago. They beat Arizona by 13 the other day.
Arizona, who's likely going to be a 2 seed or 3.
Right.
Yeah, Arizona, who was on the 1 seed line before that loss.
Right.
Right. And USC, if they beat Washington in their first round game, will play Arizona in the second round. And that, I'm telling you, if there's going to be a Georgetown, a team that, from 3 years ago had no chance of a bid, and they literally have to rattle off 4 wins in a row and win their conference tournament to get in. And John Fanta on our show said, watch out for Georgetown. They had Villanova in the second round, and if they beat them, I'm telling you, they're going to win 4. And they did, and they did. I'm telling you, USC's that team in the Pac-12.
And the unique thing about USC there, David, is that they actually have they have a good team. They've just been hurt. With that Georgetown team, it was like they just kind of put together a nice 2 weeks. USC could actually do damage in the tournament because Georgetown went and they got in as a 12 seed and got waxed.
And, USC's got some pros. I think their starting backcourt will both play in the association. I mean, the point guard was the number 1 recruit in the country last year as a high schooler. And the shooting guard was all Pac-12 last year. And the only reason he isn't this year is he got hurt. So, that's dangerous. That's a tough draw for Arizona. It really is. It's like, really? We got to play them?
You don't think the Buckeyes can continue this little...
They're 5-1, baby. I think they can. Listen, to me, they're alive. I mean, come on, isn't the last 10 games? How many times, Mark, have we seen the committee spokesperson come out and say, well, they were 8-2 in their last 10. They were 9-1 in their last 10. I mean, if Ohio State goes on a Big Ten tournament run here, I'll tell you right now, they make the final they're in.
Well, what helps them is they are on Illinois' side of the bracket, not Purdue's. And Ohio State's beaten Purdue this season. I'm just saying, if you can avoid Edey until for as long as possible, you want to. Also, the only thing that I think really hurts the Buckeyes is that if they make a run to the final game, the championship, it's on Sunday, and the they
got to win. I mean, no, they don't get in unless they win. But he's talking about USC being a live play in the Pac-12. I'm just saying, don't rule out the Buckeyes, who have 5-1 with the interim coach, and see what they can do in the Big Ten tournament,
which they start tomorrow against Iowa in the 10-7 game.
And Iowa has to win that game.
Yeah, for sure.
Iowa still has a shot if they can string along some wins. So that's just a little bracketology, ShelbyMastBracketWag.com, as we get you ready for the tournament Selection Sunday, a few days away.
And I'm not saying it about USC because, of Andy Enfield and we're friends and all that. I'm just telling you that it's a situation where a team was injured all year. Okay. And they were in last place at the Pac-12 3 weeks ago. And now they've won 4 of 5. And the only loss was a late road loss to Washington State, who's a tournament team.
Who's good.
Right. So I'm just saying, this is one of those, listen, does anybody want to play Ohio State right now in the Big Ten tournament? I mean, they're 5-1 with the interim guy. It's just like, you lost to Ohio State in the Big Ten tournament. Yeah, we caught them at the wrong time.
Yeah, I don't think the Hawkeyes are happy about having to face Ohio State in the first game when Iowa's in a must-win situation, in a must-2-win situation, maybe 3 wins if they want any shot to get into the tournament.
In Iowa, some of these players, I think they won the Big Ten tournament 2021. So some of these guys have that run in them.
Oh, no, Fran's had Big Ten tournament success. It's the NCAA tournament success that's eluded him. No,
0.
He's had Big Ten tournament success.
I'd have to check on this. I don't know if he's been to the Sweet 16 with Iowa. Certainly not in the last 10 years.
Michigan State loses to Minnesota. They're out, right?
That's what Shelby said.
Yeah.
Should be. Except I think they'd still get in the first 4, but they should be out, yes.
That'd be 18-14. I mean,
with being a dumpster fire down the stretch.
With your last 2 losses to Indiana and Minnesota, non-tournament teams, I mean, come on. I'm sorry. That's a play-in game. And there's quite a few of those going on today and tomorrow. Miller and Moulton. Along the network, thanks for listening. Diamond District Bonus Hour, the 239 is next.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung specializes in criminal defense, DUI, personal injury, nursing home claims, and auto accidents. I'm a former prosecutor with over 34 years of experience. The information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, time is of the essence to maintain your driving privileges. call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung for a free consultation. At the law firm of Michael F. Hornung, we are committed to excellence in your representation. Being a local attorney with local knowledge is clutch to the success of your case. For over 30 years, we have successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Our offices are conveniently located in Fort Myers. Visit online at mfh-law.com.
Located on the East Trail, locally owned Naples Tiki Bar and Grill is an outdoor eatery next to the Hitching Post Shopping Center. Island-inspired food with a true tiki theme. The best place in Naples to enjoy the beautiful weather in Southwest Florida. The Naples Tiki Bar and Grill offers a great menu for dine-in or takeout. Enjoy our famous pulled pork, huge burgers, and tiki bar cocktails. Don't miss happy hour every day from 3 to 6 and live music 7 days a week. See you soon at the Naples Tiki Bar and Grill, 11498 Tamiami Trail East.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
Are you ready to make March unforgettable? No, seriously. Get ready to be dazzled as Jason and Todd with the Diamond District invite you to their largest diamond event ever, featuring one of the world's largest diamond cutters, beginning Friday, March 15th, running through Sunday the 17th. Picture this: GIA certified diamonds ranging from 1 carat to a stunning 11 carat diamonds, all at the lowest prices you'll find anywhere. No, seriously, the lowest prices. And that's not all. A. Jaffe, one of America's top bridal designers, will be joining the Diamond District for this extraordinary event. Whether you're searching for that perfect engagement ring to symbolize your love or looking to treat yourself to a timeless piece of fine jewelry, the Diamond District has exactly what you need. With their wide selection of fine jewelry at unbeatable prices, you're sure to find something that will take your breath away. No, seriously. Don't miss out on the biggest diamond event of the year, Friday the 15th through Sunday the 17th.
At the Diamond District.
Mark Miller for Molly Maid. Why Molly Maid, you ask? Trust. Moulton was a customer for 15 years. Affordability. Didn't I just say Moulton was a customer for 15 years? Worry-free services. Our professional house cleaners are fully insured and a 24-hour warranty. Call Molly Maids today at 239-774-5839. That's 239-774-5839 or online at mollymaid.com/FTMYERS. That's mollymaid.com/FTMYERS. You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Oh, SEC me. I'm totally. They've been a horrible watch for most of the year. Horrible.
By the way, if you guys do want to do a pool, I have some ideas. We can talk after the show.
Unfortunately, I have just been pressed into service at 10 o'clock. So.
Oh, look at you.
First time ever, by the way, being asked to host this show. So
NFL or Mad Dog?
NFL. No, I took myself out of the equation with Mad Dog. They've called me so infrequently. I just had to renew my contract, and I literally said to them, I go, at this point, if you call me, it's an inconvenience. Yeah, Mello. Apparently, 10 to noon with Charlie Weiss. Good thing we talk a lot of NFL on this show. I thought they were pretty talented in 15, but I hear you, Sonny.
Here we go.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network. And now here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
It is the Diamond District bonus hour. Thanks for being with us. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on Twix, Twitter/X. Our poll question today, Nick Saban says NIL has ruined college football. Not is ruining, has ruined college football. See, right? Yes or no? That's it. Close vote throughout the day. More of you have said he's right than wrong, for what it's worth.
Really wonder how many of the people that said no still think college football is ruined, though.
So that's why you think if we had done it over again, we would have given them a third choice, which is it's not ruined, which in theory, though, is no. If you say, he's saying NIL has ruined college football, then you can vote no and go, Nick, it's not ruined.
But if we asked Nick, I just think if we said NIL, the transfer portal, it's not ruined, I would love to know where it's not ruined would have fallen into that. Hell, we've got time before the start of college football season, David. We may revisit it.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I mean, they'll finalize the new playoff and the divvy up the money. And so, we can have a few more of these questions. Right. Nick's not shy. He'll do plenty of interviews.
We've got damn near 175, 180 shows before college football starts. So,
so it seems, wow, really? That many?
Or that many days, not many shows.
God, I was going to say, then again, we don't take a lot of time off. So, I don't know, Mark, you might be right. You might be right.
Boy, did I get vindication last night, David.
Ooh, what for?
Well, the daughter had a softball game. The first two softball games, I missed one because of the golf tournament. So I missed one of her games. But it's her fourth game. I've been at two. They've asked me to run the scoreboard for both games.
Right.
I missed the third game, so I've been replaced. And I'm fine with that.
Right. Takes a lot of pressure off.
But this guy screwed up like 5 times. He's getting yelled at from both sides. I'm just sitting there going, see? See?
Not so easy, is it?
Don't tell me the button sticks. I know the button sticks.
I know
Be better than that up there, huh?
I know I've said this before, but the most pressure I have ever felt is not broadcasting a game. It was the one time that somebody had called in late and I was just going to be a fan watching the game, and FGC tapped me on the shoulder and said, "Can you do the scorebook?" And I'm like, "Sure, I can do the scorebook." I mean, come on. I do the scorebook while doing play-by-play. I mean, if I can call the action and write down buckets and fouls, of course I can do the scorebook. And then 2 things happened. They gave me that zebra thing and said, "Put this on." I was like, "Oh, wow, you guys are taking this seriously." And then the lead referee said, Moulton, you're official. Not what any of us say. The book is the word. Don't screw it up.
Is that the first time you'd ever put the stripes on before?
The only time I've ever done it. I mean, I've umpired and, youth sports officiated. But yes, at the college level, really high school level or higher, that's the only time I've ever put the stripes on before. And man, did I feel pressure. even like they come over and they're telling you the fouls, and I'm like, is that 21 or 12? And sure, and you're like, oh man, there's a 21 and a 12 on the court. And a couple of times I had to go, hey, Bob, is that 12 or 21? And literally one time he's like, this hand is the first number. I'm like, oh, okay. I just want to get it right. And
yeah, that's nothing as opposed to doing a U10 softball game.
I know. Now,
those parents care, David.
Right. I don't have anybody yelling at me. That's all, internal pressure. I mean, I was sweating almost like Trent was last Thursday when the equipment didn't work. I mean, it wasn't quite that bad, but I mean, inside, it was pressure.
So I just sat there and watched that game with a big old smile on my face and said, see?
Good deal. Good deal. Now, the problem is that they ask you now, hey, can you come back?
Well, if they ask, I'll do it. Best seat in the house. It's the one thing about it is literally the best seat in the building for the game. So and I have no other parents around me, which is great because I cheer for both. You know me, I cheer for both teams. I'm the parent that,
right.
We're at the level now where there's not a lot of strikes thrown. I've seen one good pitcher in four games. The rest, they're really struggling to get it's hard. It's first time they've thrown. It's not easy. You go out and throw a windmill softball and see if you can get the ball over the plate. So the catcher has a lot of responsibility, a lot of stolen bases, a lot of pass balls. So when the catchers, it doesn't matter which team, when the catcher makes a good play behind the play, I'm like, that away, catch, good scoop. I don't care what team it's on. Kid gets a good hit. There's not a lot of strikes. Kid swings it back. That's a good hit. And if it's the other team, I got 8 parents looking over their shoulder going, who's this guy sitting on our side rooting for the other team?
Right. Because it's very important whether or not it's the Mustangs or the, Camels who win.
I will say I give them credit since this is a local hour. One of they make the managers all pick a college team for this. So there's one team that chose Ole Miss. He must be an Ole Miss grad, but we're the FGCU Eagles. The other team's the FSW Buccaneers. So I give credit to the coaches for picking the local teams, not to mention both have been pretty good. The Buccaneers have been terrific in softball, but FGCU's been pretty solid over their tenure as well.
Mm-hmm.
So
cool. Very quickly, not going to, get too much more in depth with this, but I'm just wondering, is anything close to strike?
Yes. Well, it depends on the ump. Last night, this guy's moving the game along. If it's there, let's call it strike. Let's make these kids swing. I'm with you.
Because I did that when I was an umpire, when you're doing little league and what have you. I'd literally, they come out and what have you, and I go, listen, tell your pitchers, tell your hitters, if it's close, it's a strike, okay? I mean, come on now.
Let's swing the bats.
Yeah, we got to go. We got a 2-hour thing, and let's if it's close, all right, you got to swing the bat. No looking for walks here. I don't care. And at the time, that's when baseball was transitioning to working the count. And so, the kids, no, the hell with that. We swing the bats here. Let's go. I may not on 2 strikes. I'm not going to necessarily give you the call on 2 strikes if it's, 4 inches off the plate. It's like, it's 2 strikes.
But 3-0, 4 inches off the plate, that's strike 1.
But 1-0, that pitch is a strike. Yes, It is. Come on now. Let's go. Let's move this along. That's a pretty good slider from an 11-year-old there. Come on. Let's go.
So, yes, big night for me at the and, of course, it was important that I didn't have to do the scoreboard last night because I was locked in on my phone making sure there were no free agent deals being done while watching college basketball scores as well as a few NHL scores.
If they have a game over the next few days, are you going to be able to set the laptop up and watch college hoops, or are they going to take offense to that?
School spring breaks are next week. So the first 4 days of the tournament, no games.
Oh, that's amazing.
The timing could not have been better for that.
Now, I have to admit, if statewide, if they're taking off of school for the NCAA tournament, then I take back all of the criticism I've ever had for the state of Florida and how often kids seemingly don't seem to be in school. Because now that's prioritizing. If not for the kids, for the parents. Or really for the dads. So I would give him a tip of the hat. I'd be like, you know what? Maybe you need a $50 donation to some cause. Not to the FHSAA. They're corrupt. All right. But somewhere else.
So there you have it. 21,000 is the text line, 21000. You want to chime in on anything on the show? We've been talking a lot of college football today.
Yeah. Nick Saban said college football's been ruined. I got out because it's ruined. I hate it. I can't. We didn't say exactly those words. We're paraphrasing here. But it's Clint Eastwood without the shotgun. I mean, he's not happy.
Which is interesting because he is now one of the new voices of the sport. He was the voice of the sport as a head coach, but now has a platform where we're going to hear him for 3 hours every week.
Well, do you really think he's going to get challenged? Who on that show you think is going to challenge an opinion of his?
McAfee.
Maybe. You think he will?
McAfee.
Now, I will say he started making regular appearances last year on McAfee's show. I never saw any of them. I don't know if McAfee ever challenged him on anything, but
I never saw him challenge him on anything. But he would try to poke the bear a little bit. So I will be interested to see if he at least takes a counterpoint approach with anything with Saban.
It's a heavily produced show. I mean, I don't know, although I don't know how early Nick's going to get in. Not that you can't do a production meeting via Zoom and what have you, but it is a heavily produced show. So I'll be curious how much you think the guys, like, inside the NBA, you could tell they've got a topic, but, they don't know what the other's going to say because they don't know what they're going to say. ESPN shows don't work that way. They just don't. I'm not saying they script them, but they go through them.
But their production meetings have production meetings is what you're trying to say?
And they'll have rehearsals. Now, it's tough to have a rehearsal for a 9 a.m. show, but they'll do segments in a production room on a Friday night dinner in which they'll talk through, okay, we're going to bring up NIL. All right. We're going to start with Nick. Reese, what are you going to ask him? Okay. And then they determine basically the order, at least to start. Okay. Then we'll go from Nick to Kirk and okay. Who wants to say what? And maybe Desmond will say, well, I disagree with Nick on this. Okay. We'll go to you third. But I mean, it gets talked out a little bit.
So Nick Saban said college football has been ruined because of NIL. It's our poll question today. Do you think he is correct? Yes or no? Go to that Mark Miller, the David Moulton, or Miller_Moulton on X to cast your vote on whether you think NIL has ruined college football. It's the Diamond District Bonus Hour. Of course, brought to you by who else? Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
Are you ready to make March unforgettable? No, seriously. Get ready to be dazzled as Jason and Todd with the Diamond District invite you to their largest diamond event ever, featuring one of the world's largest diamond cutters, beginning Friday, March 15th, running through Sunday the 17th. Picture this, GIA certified diamonds ranging from 1 carat to a stunning 11 carat diamonds, all at the lowest prices you'll find anywhere. No, seriously, the lowest prices. And that's not all. A. Jaffe, one of America's top bridal designers, will be joining the Diamond District for this extraordinary event. Whether you're searching for that perfect engagement ring to symbolize your love or looking to treat yourself to a timeless piece of fine jewelry, the Diamond District has exactly what you need. With their wide selection of fine jewelry at unbeatable prices, you're sure to find something that will take your breath away. No, seriously. Don't miss out on the biggest diamond event of the year, Friday the 15th through Sunday the 17th.
At the Diamond District.
Mark Miller for Molly Maid. Why Molly Maid, you ask? Trust. Moulton was a customer for 15 years. affordability. Didn't I just say Moulton was a customer for 15 years? Worry-free services. Our professional house cleaners are fully insured and a 24-hour warranty. Call Molly Maids today at 239-774-5839. That's 239-774-5839 or online at mollymaid.com/FTMYERS. That's mollymaid.com/FTMYERS.
Hello, friends and family of Southwest Florida. Are you looking to tap into the electric vehicle market? Well, look no further because we here at Southwest Florida Golf Carts have just what you need. E-bikes, golf carts, LSVs, scooters, and more. Come down and talk with one of our experienced sales reps, have a soda and a smile, and you could be cruising the streets in your new EV today. Stop by the store or visit our website at flgolfcarts.com and enter for a chance to win $100 off your next purchase by answering John's monthly sports question.
You were listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Yes. Unfortunately, one of them's the regular co-host. That's the problem. Yes. No. Just what it is. Yeah, just what it is he wants.
Okay, perfect. I'll throw those in a text to you so you have them. There's no paid reads or anything. And all of our imaging is pretty standard music and rejoin. So we should be good to go.
And out times like 59:20, right?
59:20, yep.
Okay.
And then you're on you guys on a call?
Yes. So so give me like, New York studio, whatever it is you want, and I'll connect. Well, I'll write it down right now. 8B?
8B, yep.
Okay. Probably won't get connected much before 10 o'clock, but. No problem.
All right, I'll talk to you a little bit then.
Thanks, Lexi. All right, take care.
So my mom sometimes won't answer her phone.
Right.
Or return texts. And when they're 79, you get a little worried.
Sure.
So I called 2 days ago. I called her on Monday. And I called her back later. And I thought she might be playing cards. She didn't answer. Called after the show yesterday. Didn't answer because I was going to have hot dogs. I was going to pick her up to have a hot dog. I texted her. I said, 3 calls, now a text. Maybe you could respond. Nothing. Call her at 3:30. Nothing. Go to the then I come back to the grocery store. I call her again. Nothing. So it's now 5 calls and a text. And I now come over after the grocery store.
Sure.
Hey, what's going on? I said, Mom, do you ever look at your phone? What do you mean? I said, well, I called you 3 times today, twice yesterday, and I've sent a text. You do start to worry me when you don't. You could have fallen. I don't know. Every day somebody falls at that damn golf course.
Oh, do they?
Well, not every, but you know what I mean.
Right.
So she's like, well, it's nice of you to care and all blah, 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 blah. So my wife tells her that her mother texts my brother-in-law every morning just to say that it's the text of life, as Matt calls it. So my mother at 8:10 this morning, good morning. Fine.
That's great.
That's all I need.
Outstanding. Made it through the night, son.
That's
Have
all
a
we
good
need.
day. That's funny.
Of course, my mother was rotten. She goes, yeah, after 5 times, Mark came over to make sure he knew where the will was.
Wow. Come on, Mom. He's an only child. He's getting everything. Come on. Eventually, when cleaning the place, we'll find it. My wife's big on now. This folder here is for, I'm like, listen, after you die, I'll find it. It may take a while, but I'll find it. I'll have to clean up your stuff. She's like, yeah, but just don't throw this out. I go, no, I know. The pink one, the black one. I got it.
Okay, here we go.
Welcome to the bonus hour, brought to you by Jason and Todd at the Diamond District. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
21 minutes past the hour. It's a hump day. Thanks for getting over it together with us. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on Twix, Twitter/X. Our poll question today, Nick Saban said NIL's killing college football, has killed college football. It's done. Past tense. Killed college football. Is he right? Yes or no? And right now, a small majority of you say, yeah, he's right. So vote. That Mark Miller, the David Moulton, and Miller_Moulton. Vote accordingly.
Big article that I read this morning on College Football Network about NIL and just the cost. And they've gone to boosters and different people. What you brought up a couple of days ago, David, that we're flipping the bill for this. NIL is being paid for by us. And that there is booster fatigue, donation fatigue.
Yeah.
Because in the old days, when you gave your big, even this is even at the highest level, the big donors, they got their name on a building. Now, when you ask the coach what they want, they'd, as this article says, what do you need, coach? I need a locker room. I need a new weight room. I need this. I need that. Now they say NIL. That's what they need is NIL.
Yeah, I need a corner. I need a wide receiver. And that just doesn't, do it for the booster necessarily.
But it does it for the booster, perhaps, if they're at Georgia, where they win and win and win. But the Florida booster who's being asked to flip the bill on both sides and not seeing results in the field, that's when they start having the fatigue because their money's not buying them what they want.
Well, here's the other thing, though, Mark. I mean, this is every year, though. That's the other thing. Whereas, like you said, we want to redo the locker room. Well, okay, me and, we'll chip in. They do the locker room. That's it. They're not coming to me the next year about the locker room. I mean, how many upgrades can we have? We do the concourse. Okay, I bought the chandelier. I mean, at some point, the project's done.
David, even at the highest of highest levels now, we just watched a school buy themselves into a conference by paying for the athletic department for 5 years until they actually become a full member of the ACC. SMU said, how much is it going to cost?
Right.
They went to basically 10 people. 5 to 10 people at SMU are flipping the bill for the athletic department while they make the transition to the ACC. But they know there's an end game.
There's no end game with players. You need new ones every year. And not only that, the price is only going to go up. Oh, by the way, and you have to put down a personal seat licensing fee just to be able to buy your season tickets.
So you can watch the players that you paid for play?
I mean, it's another reason why I'm telling you, you got to make them employees, the boosters, the fans. How much do you want to keep paying for? How are you letting your beloved university off the hook? The checks are all coming to them. The TV money, the ticket money, the sponsorship money. What, anybody compensating you?
Oh, good. And you sent your kid to school there, so not only can you pay for tuition, but they'll add on a few extra fees because if there are any shortages in the athletic department, you know where they're going to get them from? Student fees.
Never mind, at certain universities, it's a lot tougher these days to get your kid in them, even if they meet past qualifications and even if their parents both graduated from there and even if they gave money. So that's what I'm waiting for, Mark. Listen, I understand we don't like the concept of all of this. I get it. It's messy. It's unseemly, the whole deal. We get it. But now it's time to come up with a solution. If somebody can tell us a better solution than making them employees, we're all ears. But we think making them employees also alleviates this problem. Because who's going to pay them? Not you. Don't you want to be off the hook for that? Don't you have your own life to pay for? Aren't you already buying tickets, sending them money? How much more do you have to do for them? And by the way, how do they not have the money? What are they paying for? Would be my question if I was a Bull Gator. And they're like, well, we can't provide the money. Well, then change the damn rules so you can.
And the other side of this is that the Olympic sports are going to become club sports at a lot of places.
Yeah, but they don't have to be. And I don't just mean financially, Mark. You could sit down, figure this all out where athletics pays for itself, because you can at these major schools. You can. You really could. But the other thing, Mark, and we know this, there are many in industry that does something, and it's called a loss leader. We're probably not going to get our money back on this, but this is good for us, trust me. I mean, Mark, come on, you've been in the business for a long time. How many sponsors did you get to write you a check in which if they had to sit down and justify it, are they really going to get their $50,000 back in actual cash that they can literally go, oh, I got that back because I bought signage with Mark?
If they advertise on this show, they will.
Well, yes. All right. And there are a few sponsors who, quite frankly, think they built their business off this show. And we were
Goodness,
happy to
we
serve.
use a couple more.
In fact, one of them is the Diamond District, proud sponsors of the bonus hour of Miller and Moulton. But you know what I'm getting at here. If you're a university also, you mean to tell me in the grand scheme of things, the money that you're spending, you look at them and you go, really? These 15 sports, let's just say we're losing $7-8 million doing these 15 sports. You really don't think we're getting that money back? You don't think that's good for us? All these people who become alums, all these people who have kids, the money that we get back, okay, the money that we're getting from their parents, by the way, while you were playing these sports. You sure? You sure we don't get our money back? I mean, how many of these have to become uber successful to us to get our money back like that?
I don't know how many have to be successful to get your money back. I could argue that you never get your money back on some of those sports, but you get your money back if your football team's good, and you get your money back if your basketball team's good. Outside of that, I don't know where you get your money back. I mean, there's a phenomenon going on in women's college basketball right now that we are at unprecedented times in that sport, not just with Iowa. We've never watched in the numbers that we've watched before.
And yet fewer people have never gone to the FGC women's games that are going right now.
No one even knew it was played.
Only
stop it. No. I found out they were playing last night on X. Because whoever was covering the game tweeted out about it. Not because FGCU tweeted out about it.
But I mean, they're not even getting the people who used to go to the game. I mean, what is this going to be? What, their 10th? If they win the conference final, which they're hosting, is it Saturday?
That's a great question.
I think it is, but
Okay,
anyway,
you-
and I
if you
think it's
say
Central
so.
Arkansas. But I mean, will that be their 10th conference title in the last 12 years? I mean, Stetson beat them in 13, and Jacksonville beat them in 16. And I don't think anybody else has beaten them in the A-Sun since. So I think that'll be their 10th title in 12 years. And the pandemic year, they didn't play the final, but they were awarded co-champions, and they had a 30-win team, and they were at home. They would have beat Liberty because they beat them the next 3 years, so they would have beat them. But I mean, that's 10 out of 12, and they've never, with this phenomenon that's going on in women's basketball, their attendance is going down.
Hosting Central Arkansas Saturday in the final.
There you go.
Miller and Moulton, the Diamond District bonus hour.
Hello, friends and family of Southwest Florida. Are you looking to tap into the electric vehicle market? Well, look no further, because we here at Southwest Florida Golf Carts have just what you need. E-bikes, golf carts, LSVs, scooters, and more. Come down and talk with one of our experienced sales reps, have a soda and a smile, and you could be cruising the streets in your new EV today. Stop by the store or visit our website at flgolfcarts.com and enter for a chance to win $100 off your next purchase by answering John's monthly sports question.
Mark Miller for Molly Maid. Why Molly Maid, you ask? Trust. Moulton was a customer for 15 years. Affordability. Didn't I just say Moulton was a customer for 15 years? Worry-free services. Our professional house cleaners are fully insured and a 24-hour warranty. Call Molly Maids today at 239-774-5839. That's 239-774-5839 or online at mollymaid.com/FTMYERS. That's mollymaid.com/FTMYERS.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung specializes in criminal defense, DUI, personal injury, nursing home claims, and auto accidents. I'm a former prosecutor with over 34 years of experience. The information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, time is of the essence to maintain your driving privileges. Call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung for a free consultation. At the law firm of Michael F. Hornung, we are committed to excellence in your representation. Being a local attorney with local knowledge is clutch to the success of your case. For over 30 years, we have successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Our offices are conveniently located in Fort Myers. Visit online at mfh-law.com.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network. The Chargers have 4 of the top 12 cap hits in the entire league, and obviously none of them are a quarterback.
Where are you getting that from?
From it's on Twitter from Jason, found it overthecap.com. Khalil Mack's 38.5. Bosa's 36.5. Keenan Allen's 34.7. And Mike Williams is 32.4. Now they're going to cut Williams, right?
I think so. They have to get to the cap by 4 o'clock today. I don't think they're at it yet.
New Orleans is kicking the can down the road right now. You know what we didn't talk about today is Peyton Manning doing Olympic coverage.
Oh, I didn't hear that.
Oh, I saw it and I completely slipped my mind. So Tirico, Kelly Clarkson, and and Peyton Manning are doing the opening ceremony.
Wow. Well, Sonny, it's been the same deal. They've been playing the ASUN final the same week for the last 10, 12 years.
It may be because they didn't let anybody know.
Yeah,
They
that's
don't.
what it
They
is.
don't advertise. They think that they are of the belief that they're so big because they're inside that bubble and they talk about themselves so much that they don't realize anybody outside that bubble doesn't give a damn about anything they do anymore. I was literally thinking about I want to meet this new AD.
Well, you should be able to.
See if he needs a ticket salesman.
Well, he definitely needs that.
And I'm not joking.
Well, comes on board May 1st.
Because I was just looking around, like, none of the girls on our softball team have ever been approached by FTC. I mean, there's only 30 girls in our league playing softball. There's 30 girls in the age group above, 25 below that, and 25 below that. That's just at that little, that's 100 kids. They get half those kids and their parents to show up. They've tripled their attendance for a game. Same thing with FGCU baseball. Why are you letting the Miracle do all the school nights? Why? It makes no sense. The Muscles, I know. They'll always be the Miracle to me. I will never refer to them as the.
As soon as we're done, I got to disconnect.
Yep, I know.
So sorry about the promo right now. And also right now, we got a Friday shows lined up. I got nothing for tomorrow.
Well, we got a lot of college
We'll
basketball.
look back on the first day of free agency and conference tournaments, David. How about that?
God, Mark, that sounds great.
My brother does his one bet on every single college tournament game. He went 14-9 yesterday, and there's 43 games today. 43.
How many do you have to win to cover the VIG? Do you got to go like 25-18?
That sounds about right.
Probably. I don't know. Here we go.
Welcome to the bonus hour, brought to you by Jason and Todd at the Diamond District. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
22 minutes till the top of the hour, 16 until we're done. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on Twix. Our poll question today, Nick Saban testified before Congress yesterday that NIL has ruined college football. Not is ruining, has ruined college football. Do you agree, yes or no? We've had some vote no, but then say, no, the transfer portal has. Nick's right, it's ruined. That's just not the number one reason. Oh, okay. Anyway, vote accordingly.
It's time for someone to take back this segment, if for no other reason than to stop David from talking about Meghan and Harry. Here's Mark Miller with Today Was the Day When.
1852, we start. The Uncle Sam cartoon makes its debut. It was in the New York Lantern Weekly. Chester Greenwood patented earmuffs today in 1877. He was 15.
And what do you do from there?
I don't know. 1954, must have been in spring training. The Braves' Bobby Thompson breaks his ankle, is replaced by this guy named Hank Aaron. 2 Chicago things happened today in 1960. The first is the Chicago Cardinals moved to St. Louis. That's the NFL.
Right.
Just making sure people knew. And the White Sox had new road uniforms that had their names above the numbers. 1965, Eric Clapton leaves the Yardbirds. They would replace him with Jeff Beck.
Well, and you would know this better than me, but suppose this is like the 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon. You know, what if Rich Rod had taken the Bama job? I mean, the stuff that apparently unfolds throughout the rest of the 60s because of Clapton and Beck, and then it ended up being
Jimmy Page.
He
Yes.
recommended Jimmy Page. They went with Beck, and right.
And it was just 2 years ago that Brady ended his 40-day retirement. L. Ron Hubbard, Andy Bean, and former voice of the Rays, Dave Wills, who would have been 60 today.
And not only that, the 1-year anniversary was just a few days ago of
I know.
his tragic passing.
William H. Macy, 74. Adam Clayton from U2 is 64. Will Clark is 60. Trent Dilfer, 52. Johan Santana is 45. PK Subban's 35. And Coco Gauff is 20. What did I miss, David?
Nothing. No, nothing. You hit all the big stuff. I mean, I got stuff from the 1800s, but whatever.
Florida is gonna Florida. Well, Mark Miller sees it differently. He calls it the good, the bad, and the ugly. What you got, Mark?
Who says going to Facebook doesn't pay off? It did for Jennifer Vaccaro of White Lake, Michigan. She was at a little bar and grill when she decided to buy a Powerball ticket while her fiance was playing Keno. She said, I usually pick easy numbers, but since we were just hanging out having a drink, I decided to take the time to pick my own numbers. Next morning, she was scrolling Facebook and saw a winning post at the place she was at, checked the numbers, and realized she had won $1 million. Good for you. For the bad, we go to Naples, where Todd Dahmer had access to the safe at the 7-Eleven he worked at because he made bank deposits. But when the deposits came up missing, it's believed that Dahmer fled on foot, jumped a Greyhound bus to Tampa, but he couldn't get away from the popo as Lee County or Collier County authorities, along with Hillsborough County sheriffs, tracked him down and recovered most of the $25,535 that he ripped off from the 7-Eleven. It's a lot of Slurpees.
Sure is.
Finally, the ugly. We go to Jensen Beach, Florida, where Landon Newman was at a beach on a walkway at a clothing optional beach. But apparently the pathways aren't really clothing optional. He was seated in a recliner chair with a hat over his face with a note advising passerbys, please feel free to investigate gently. Fortunately, police were on foot patrol when they came up on the naked Newman and arrested him for indecent exposure. Had a note, please feel free to investigate gently. And that, David, is the good, the bad, and the ugly on today, March the 13th, 2024.
Both the Heat and the Magic in action tonight. In fact, the NBA Finals rematch tonight in Miami. They had a good game last time in Denver. And so they're hosting the Nuggets. Denver, a 4.5-point favorite at Miami. Now, normally you'd say, you know, the Heat really want to start winning these games because you don't want to be in the play-in. Yeah, Mark, where were the Heat last year?
In the play-in.
How'd they do?
They did well.
Right. They won the East, I believe.
Yeah.
Right. From the play-in. So
when they almost lost the play-in to Chicago.
Say, wasn't that Bulls game? They were trailing.
They lost to Atlanta and then had to beat the Bulls. And with 4 minutes to go in the fourth at home, they're losing. Right.
Unbelievable.
6 weeks later, they're in the finals. Going through both Milwaukee and Boston, too. It's not like it was an easy road or anything. And they did play the two best teams in the East and beat them. So Orlando hosting Brooklyn. And Orlando, I believe right now is the 7. Technically, I believe the 7-8 would be Orlando-Miami today. Or is Philly's the 7. Orlando's actually the 5. The Orlando Magic right now would play a first-round series against the Knicks, which is probably not a good matchup for the Magic. But so Orlando's hosting Brooklyn, and the Heat are hosting the Nuggets.
But you still have just 3 games between the Knicks, who are the 5, or the 4 rather, and the Heat, who are the 8.
Correct. And that's why every game is seemingly pretty big here in the final 17, 18 games of the season. But the Heat,
I want
obviously,
Celtics Heat 1-8 so bad. I think we would eat that up. Celtics Heat 1-8 matchup. That'd be awesome.
Well, think about it either way. Let's just say the Heat stay where they are. They're in a 7-8 play-in. They win the first game, they're the 7. They play Milwaukee. Milwaukee goes, oh, this is great. We get the Heat in the first round again. Oh, that's fantastic. Okay, or say they lose it, and then they win the next game, and they're the 8. Guess who they play right out of the chute? Boston. Boston goes, are you serious? We win 60, because the Celtics are going to win like 64 games. They're going to go, you serious? We win 64 games, and we get the Heat? Coming out of the chute? I mean, believe me, the Bucks and the Celtics desperately want the Heat to be the 6. Get in that 3-6 first round. Just stay away from us. Get over there.
Then I think they beat Cleveland in the 6-3, but we'll cross that bridge when we come to it.
Daniel Gafford, 28 for 28. It's not Luka and the Mavs hosting the Warriors. It's Daniel Gafford, who hasn't missed a shot in nearly 2 weeks. He and the Mavs are hosting the Warriors tonight at 8:30. If he hits 7 for 7, he ties Wilt's record. If he can go 8 for 8, no one in NBA history will have ever made more consecutive shots than fourth-year center out of Arizona, Daniel Gafford. So there you go. NHL tonight, not many games. Remember, it's a Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday league, so only 4 games tonight.
Vancouver's hosting Colorado. That's a really good game.
It's hysterical. The 2 really good matchups. I'm talking about like all playoff teams. 3 of the 4 teams have like 3 of the 6 highest point totals in the league. Nashville at Winnipeg, Colorado at Vancouver. Yeah, you're not going to be able to see those games. The TNT doubleheaders, the Kings and the Blues, and the Caps and the Oilers.
I'm not going to knock them for putting Ovechkin and McDavid on television.
I hear you. I get it.
I mean, they do these schedules a long time in advance. I'm not going to knock them for putting Ovechkin and McDavid on TV.
All right. Big conference tournaments are definitely underway today. Few of them got underway yesterday. UCF, a winner yesterday. 12:30 today. They play BYU on ESPN2. Second round of the Big 12. UCF, I think, has had a pretty good first year in the Big 12, don't you?
I totally agree. They just started spring ball and football, and they're looking for bigger things. They got the quarterback transfer from Arizona or from Arkansas there. So, I mean, football had and Malzahn was completely upset with the first year, and I thought they did fine in football. Basketball did a little better than football.
Yeah, the football team actually blew a couple games. It could have been a lot better, but the UCF basketball team's got like 4 wins over ranked teams, 2 of them on the road, beat Kansas at home. I think they acquitted themselves well. We'll see if they can upset BYU, who's a 6.5-point favorite. By the way, so many injuries with Kansas, Mark. The Jayhawks are playing Cincinnati, and Cincy's a 2.5-point favorite. Think about that. That's how many. 2 starters out for Kansas. They're very shorthanded. The thought is they may mail in this Big 12 tournament and just rest up and hope that they get a late Friday opening game, to be honest. They need as much time as possible to get their guys back.
3 bids on the line tonight. That's how I see it, David. Nichols and McNeese State. The Southland final. McNeese State's a 16.5-point favorite in that one. The Patriot League Championship, Lehigh at Colgate. Colgate a 6.5-point favorite in that one. And then the Big Sky Championship. Montana State and Montana, David. A big one there. Montana, 6.5-point favorite.
Throw the records out. The battle for Montana.
Bobcats
bid on
and the
the line.
Grizzlies?
I think it's just the Grizz.
Oh, they just the Grizz?
That's what their logo is.
Okay,
I don't
just-
know. Yeah.
I thought they were the Grizzlies, but
Their little word mark just says Grizz. I
Yeah,
don't know if
they're the
that's-
Grizzlies.
Okay.
Grizzlies and
interesting.
Bobcats.
David,
Play it outside.
For what it's worth, in the Big Ten tournament tonight, I love your Scarlet Knights plus 3.5 versus Maryland. I don't understand the line. It should be a pick 'em. Both teams 15 and 16. Coaching advantage Rutgers.
game on Peacock at 6:30.
So there you have it. There's the college basketball, a little bit of the college basketball slate. Conference tournaments, as we mentioned, are full on tonight and today, starting at 11:30 this morning. St. Joe's and George Mason.
A10, Big East, ACC, Big 12, SEC. We are doing Pac-12. First round games underway today. How about USC and UCLA both in the essential play-in games? That was not what the Pac-12 had in mind when the season started.
The Conference of Champions.
The Washington State head coach, by the way, was named Pac-12 Coach of the Year.
Should have been.
Yes.
What a year they had.
But just in the final year. But it's just, the way it worked out, the final year of the Pac-12 and football and basketball and who ended up being good and who didn't and all that stuff. Yeah.
Washington State, by the way, projected to be a 6 seed. They could make a little baby run here.
Well, the Gators will be a 6 or a 7 is what they're thinking. I mean, those 2, 7, 3, 6. I think it's going to be a tremendous tournament. A lot of blue bloods in the second week, though, which could make it an even better tournament from a ratings perspective. Hell, the men just have to live up to the women this year. Can they get as many eyeballs as the women? They will. I'm just in the tournament. They haven't necessarily in the regular season.
Yeah, but once Thursday comes, things change.
Yes, it does. And for that matter, Tuesday, Wednesday in Dayton, some of the potential matchups. This could be the best Dayton that they've had in a while if they do this properly, Mark. If they just put their index finger on the scale. They don't have to put their thumb on the scale. They just have to put their index finger on the scale. They could line up Dayton really nicely.
You just want that New Mexico St. John's matchup.
Damn right. And I want Indiana State, Michigan State 45 years after Magic and Larry. You're damn right I do. It's a television show, right?
Absolutely.
Okay, then make it a TV show. Miller and Moulton. Happy Hump Day. We'll do it again tomorrow. Thanks for listening.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung specializes in criminal defense, DUI,